Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Let's see. Adam is, I'll just say it would normally be sucky tasks day, and it may still be that day. Adam had another playtest session yesterday, which went well, and wants to address some feedback from that, polish the game a bit, and work toward the current stabilization phase. It'll only be a morning stream. Okay, there we go. Paste that in. This isn't needed. Yeah, so one of the most important things that I think I got to work on, and plug in my controller. Hey, David. Good morning. Is I think we need to sell the top-down shooter lying to people. So I will show what I mean here. So if we go into the top-down shooter, let me turn this down. Okay, so it says at the top, move using the left stick, hold A to fire. All right, great. When you die, that message changes to you died, you don't keep your upgrades, here's some for free to get you going again. So people tend to read this and they get these upgrades, of course, and then they sort of forget about this. This is a lie. You do keep your upgrades, but I want people to think they don't keep their upgrades. So in order to sell this lie, I think we need a stat screen that pops up with your stats. And I think they need to lie to you. Hey, puppet. Yeah. It can just show up temporarily at the top left whenever you've recently collected an upgrade. When you get the super gun, power can flash red or something. Red/rainbow or something. Did I write anything else for this? Yeah, animate the icons as you collect the power-ups. I want it to be a pretty compact UI. I don't know if we have the icons for it or not. And then the other thing is like add an outline to the game over text to make it more legible. That I can kick off really fast. Add an outline to the game over text in the top-down shooter so that it's more legible against a dark background. For players. Okay, there. Oh, by the way, I like keeping track of AI usage. We're at 89%. AI start of day, 89%. I'm not going to like track it percent by percent today, probably. Okay, so stats. We got to go see if we got UI for this. I've got a whole bunch of different graphics now, but they don't necessarily fit this. And unfortunately, the asset pack that this is from, I don't think they had any UI. What's this person's name? It started with an S. The dungeon itch. Scary. That's what it was. Yeah, I don't think this person made UI. Let's take a look. No, they didn't. And this doesn't contain any, right? I don't think so. Okay, so we have a couple options. We could try to take assets from another pack that I bought. UI RPG cards. I wonder what that looks like. Let's put that over here and just take a look. This is probably not going to be fitting, but yeah, who knows? UI banners? Nah, that's not going to work. Oh, hey, they got some like little stat icons up here. That could be attack, that could be defense. What else do we have? Movement speed, maybe the lightning bolt, luck. I don't know, the moon. And what's the other one that we have? Fire rate. Oh, I guess they got the colored in icons over here. Like maybe these are more for card icons. We'll probably also use them for card icons at some point. All right, let's look at some of the other stuff. What's in here? Is there any UI? I don't see any UI. This is the Dagon set. And this came from a bundle. How do I find that bundle? I don't know. games. And it's funny, they make a bunch of horror games, but they've got this like really cutesy fantasy artwork that looks really good. It's just totally different from the games they make. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, here we go. Well, it's this, and then this was part of a bundle. There's no UI in here. Nah, all right, fine. Let's keep looking. Farm RPG. I mean, there was definitely UI for this. I don't know if they had something for attacks and stuff. It also looked probably bad. No, I don't see stat UI in here. There's just this stuff. It's like hearts and stars and whatever. Yeah, no. And we don't need to find artwork that already exists. We could custom make it, but at least for today, for the playtest that I have coming up, I'd like to have something here. Tiny swords, platform character pack, snow hacks. There's this UI HUD. Snow hacks. That's this. I'm pretty sure we have some stat icons here. It had to be in this, I think. I don't know if we have it. There are some of these little icons. Oh, there we go. We got boots. We got a little sword, a little shield. Maybe that could be for fire rate. I don't know. The blue one could be for luck or something. Oh, hey, we got this. This is kind of cool. And then we just throw it all into a panel. Could maybe look fitting. Hey, Pickle. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. So what would we do here? We use the sword for attack, the boot for speed, the clock for fire rate, the blue circle for luck, and the shield for defense. And we'd say attack, speed, fire, luck, def. We could also have the HP. Yeah, we could also have HP. Heart for HP. Just always show the UI at that point. Yeah, it could work. It could work. We just have a bunch of custom work we'd have to do. Because we need to take the pixel font and write out all the proper... Yeah, like they have this here. But we need to make this ourselves. And we need to make the colors match. And unfortunately, they use blue for both of them. Well, this is kind of cyan, I guess. But they use the same font colors for those. This is not going to be easy. This hex font, I think, is what we want. Is this the same font that's used over here? I think so, but I'd like to see them side by side just to make sure. The M is that... No, it's different. They put a couple fonts in here. I don't know what the other one's called. This one? No, that's also different. The M is some like weird shape. It's not a weird shape over here. Huh. Hey, Ned. Ned Yakov. Welcome in. Good to see you. We also have teams. No, none of these are right. What? How many fonts do they have here? 1, 2, 3, I think. I don't know what font this is. Maybe it's some custom thing specifically for this UI. Yeah, this is the only pack I have. Okay, let's go see if I can sort by name. Or kind, I mean. Yeah, we only have the 3 fonts. Hey, DevZone. Good morning from this side. Yeah, none of these are the same font. Look at the M. It's not the same in any of these. Oh, wait a second. This is it, but backwards, right? It is. Yeah. They use like a backwards M here. I think the rest of this is the same, though. It is. Wow, look at that. Yeah. The M is just different for some reason. Maybe they updated the font after producing this. Okay, so this is Hex Font 16. What am I working on right now? I always try to keep the today command up to date. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit on YouTube, so I'll link you to this. But in general, it's addressing feedback from the playtest session yesterday, and more specifically, it's trying to make a stats page for the top-down shooter. So yeah, this is the font. This is going to be so annoying. I don't even know how you get this color effect in Godot. So we need some, like the UI building itself. We use this as the font. We color it according to the segments. Maybe we just stick to one color for now. Can we have multicolored fonts? I guess maybe we could render twice with clipping. And then we render 6 bars. It's going to make it seem like your power is capping out. Yeah, so here's the problem, right? We have these segments 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we can add as many segments as we want. But unless we have an infinite number or we use different colors, when you get past the maximum, which there isn't really a maximum, like attack, you might have 30 attack. How do we render that? I guess we fill the segments with different colors or something afterward. Maybe it's like different brightness. We can figure that out later. Figure out how to represent having more attack than the number of segments that we show. Maybe we fill it with a different color. Maybe we just... Yeah, maybe we fill it with a different color. I don't know. Hey, Sean. Morning. Keyboard looks nice. Thanks. Yeah, it's a corn keyboard. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This should be done. Yeah, this should also be incredibly simple. This task that I want to do is probably going to take like an hour and a half. And I think it's very worthwhile to do, but it's unfortunate that it's going to take as long as it will. I guess we could simplify it quite a lot and just have a segment display and just render with any font letters next to it. So it would come down to, yeah, how important is this? Label is modified from inside an instance, but it has vanished. Yeah, here it is. It says it's vanished. It's inside top-down shooter. Top-down shooter .tscn. Center/label. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. What's going on? No, what? What could have possibly caused that? Game over screen, font outline color. I'll just go find this. Yeah, this is stupid. Game over. Text is here. Okay, so we just gotta put this like so probably, and then hope that that loads up and saves it correctly. Wait, the game over screen is only ever used from this particular thing, right? This did probably work. This is, yeah, probably fine, but I'll do it in the actual scene itself. Game over. Oh, wait, we are in game over screen. Oh, what am I doing then? There we go. Yay. Okay, so reload. Now we got to make this visible. Click that and that. And yeah, there's a border around this. That's all. Let's go test that out. Hey, Connery. And hey, Ginger and Strawn. I've always got the today command, Ginger. I try to keep that up to date. Yeah, so now if I go to kill player. Yeah, so, I mean, you can see the outline there. I think that's it. I think that's fine. Let's check that in. Okay, so add outline to game over text. This should make it more legible. Yeah, that's it. All right, so now back to this stuff. This is done. Top left whenever you collected an upgrade. I wonder if you can natively render like this somehow. Godot render text with 2 colors. I don't know. I know you can do this within a rich text label and separate words, but what if you render a single glyph. Render font glyph with 2 colors. Oh, you could probably use a gradient. Oh. Label gradient. And if we can't use one, we could always do it with a shader anyway. Yeah, this is what they're doing here. Okay, okay, that would work. We have a like a 2-bit gradient. And maybe we could dynamically match it to the colors that we have here. I don't know how they probably just drew this. Yeah, they probably just drew this. But I mean, I could just draw a line in the back if I wanted to. Also, I don't mind the colors for this. We could even change this orb thing. I don't know how this represents luck, but... In fact, what would represent luck? Maybe a clover or something? I wonder what icons people use for luck in other video games. I could think of a clover and, I don't know, maybe some like random pendant or something. I'm guessing they'll just say use a bitmap font. Oh, and then just create them and export them. Yeah, that would work. But yeah, I'll just use a shader. Same text and strike through color. Here's an example. This doesn't seem like the best way of doing things. Yeah, I don't think I like that idea. Yeah, mostly clover. Yeah. Okay. Well, fine. Yeah. Use this as the font. Add a shader for the label that separates. Oh, wait, is there an outline? I guess the outline can be done differently. There is an outline. Yeah. So we split up the text into the top half and the bottom half, and we pick 2 different colors. Well, they're pretty much the same color, just light and dark, I guess. So yeah, pick a color. It comes with the light and dark colors of it, and then outlines it. The outline can probably be done differently. It's also against a background, though. So I guess maybe we don't even need the outline as long as there's like 1 pixel around the whole thing that separates the top half and bottom half of the characters. Top half is light, bottom is dark. And render the whole label against a black background to give an effect of outlining it. Hey, Katie, haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Are you still streaming? I saw you in Wendy's Discord, I think. And hey, Lukey, did you change your name? You used to be Demon Wolf? No lifing? Really focusing on my career and personal life? Ah. I hope it's going well. Yeah. And I hope you're still able to move your own game dev projects along. Shadow Wolf Lukey. Okay. Yeah, I remember Shadow Wolf. Or I remembered it as Demon Wolf. But yeah, I remembered similarly. Getting there, yes. Oh, I was talking to Katie there. Sorry. But yeah, you were working on a business for, you said international, something targeting streamers, and I think it was some kind of consulting, right? How is that going? Back studying engineering though? Want to go into CAD design? Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, it seems like you have like the foundational skills for that. You've been doing a lot of 3D modeling and everything. I think it's probably similar part of your brain to doing CAD. Online safety and moderation. Okay, yeah. And I'm guessing that's what you're saying with getting there. Yeah. Wow. Thanks, I have it established. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. Did you end up going with the like a limited liability route? I knew we were talking about that originally. Oh, and then these icons. Oh man, I want to do this. All right, so I guess first let's answer the question. Yeah, render 6 bars, render an icon to the left of X segments. We just pull the segments right from here. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the raid, Lukey. Yeah. And welcome in, everyone. Yeah, we're working on a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. There is some information in there. I should probably change this command. Stuck in a... Adam is working on Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. A single player adventure / comedy game. Read more. Read its FAQ here. There we go. Super tired, so I'm gonna head off. Oh yeah, totally understand. Yeah. And thank you for the raid. Have a good rest of your day, Lukey. Hope you're doing well. Plan on coming back around to game dev. I really like it. I'm just not in a good position right now. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it sounds like you're focusing on a lot already. Can't add too much. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the only question I think we haven't answered is this one. So we're gonna have these bars here. HP is totally fine. Oh, you know what we could do? Well, no, never mind. We can't really do this. So there's technically no limit to how many of each stat you can get. Well, that's not entirely true. Of most stats that you can get. So for example, attack can be like starts at 0 and can go to 1,000. Like no one will probably ever get that high. So the realistic max is probably like 20. Maybe we just render 10 segments, and if you get to the max, we add segments. Yeah, that could work. Hey, Magnus, happy 4th. Okay, so that is one idea. Option 1, keep adding segments if you hit the max. Actually, you know what? That's what we could just do. It could just be that that's how all of these work, except for HP. HP could be different. But like defense, you could just see defense with... Oh, no, that doesn't really... It's not clear when there's nothing there how this works. Also, I just realized we got to render the dark bar and then the filled in bar. Need to render the gray segments if you are missing that amount. Yeah. I'm torn. Like I said, this is going to take like another hour and a half, and I don't know if it's the most worthwhile thing to do, especially if we end up ditching this UI. But anyway, yeah, option 1 is keep adding segments. Option 2 is when you get to the max, just stop rendering anything differently. It would look like your upgrade had no effect whatsoever, though. Option 3 is like start filling the segments with a different color, or like add an icon indicating that you have 10x, 20x, 30x, or whatever already. You know, some icons do like imagine a lot of video games have copper and silver and gold, and 100 copper is exactly equal to 1 silver. Like there's no difference. It's just a rendering thing. So that way, instead of needing to render that you have 10,000 copper, they could just say, oh yeah, you've got 1 gold. And like as a player, you're like, oh yeah, that's the amount of currency I have. That makes sense. I get it. So we could have one segment represent 1, and then there could be some like, I don't know, some like 10. I don't know. I don't have a great idea. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, so I think I like this idea of we just keep adding segments. Yeah. So we start by rendering, I guess, 10 segments. And then if you go beyond this, if you go beyond 10 of a stat in a particular run, add more segments. Add more colorful segments, I guess. Yeah, I could just use binary. Yeah. People will love that. All right, I think I like this. Is there anything else I want to do here? Oh, we could even just use a repeating texture. Use a repeating texture for the segment. Proprietary compact number displaying system for displaying numbers with. Ah, yes. The name is Magnary. The Magnary number system. Okay, I think we have enough of a spec for this. This is still going to be very, very tedious. Even with this. Do we have, where are just those little icons? Because they're in here, but this is a gigantic sprite sheet. Is there a way to find just those particular things? I don't know what they're called. I'm just going to look through all the pictures until I find it. There? Skill level system. System spelled incorrectly. Is this everything I need? We have all the icons. We have the segments. And we have the colorful segments. Yeah, I guess this is all we need. Hey, BC. This is the fourth account. This is, so what Magnus is doing with his name is the binary represents the day of the month. So here it is August 4th, which we know always thanks to Magnus's name. So tomorrow, his name will be this. Oh, yeah. You can change your display name at will. Yeah. As many times as you want. All right, what was I about to write here? Possibly nothing. Oh, no, it was this. It was, I want to use this thing. Okay, great. So I'm going to try to give this to AI, and we'll see if it does a really shoddy job at this. So we're going to set this to Sol, because this is going to be a little bit difficult, and maybe high, and maybe in a work tree, and maybe give it a plan. And then we got to give it every single thing we ever needed to write into our document. So hex font, let's go drag that over here. And skill system here. Okay, so I want to create a stats display for the top-down shooter. So we probably should get rid of that temporary life bar that we have. Get rid of the well, I don't know if we should. Okay, let's say, I'm going to do a mock-up here. Let's just speed this up. Okay, so right now, if you get hit by a monster, you see your life start fading. Okay, so let's say we have this screenshot. And then let's say we overlay this on top. And we need to, how do you zoom in on this? Okay, so question, should we just show your life up here? Should we also show it on the player? Yeah, I think that's it. I would definitely want to show the life at the upper left. So should we render the life bar on the player? It fades after you go long enough without taking damage. So it might be nice to see your life directly on top of the player and also have it up there. I think we'll just keep it for now. It's easy enough to delete later. Yeah, I'll just keep it for now. Keep the life bar above the player, even though we'll have a new life bar. Render several stats inside a panel container anchored to the upper left of the screen. So health, This is the player's life. Attack. I guess like attack, defense, luck, fire rate, and movement speed. Hey, Goose. Good morning. All right, now things start getting difficult. Oh, man. Yeah, this gets pretty difficult. Arrange vertically inside. Oh, wait, it can't be inside a panel container. Yeah, it can't be inside a panel container because if they extend off to the side, then they'd go beyond the panel container boundary. There should be no background for this. New UI. No need for a panel container, especially since some stats will continue growing horizontally. Hey, Scholar. Long time no see. How you doing? Well, not super long time, I guess. Wasn't the point of the top-down shooter to have the player realize that the stats are kept between resurrects? Wouldn't the bar spoil that? So the bars are going to lie to you. When you die, the bars will all go to 0. So it's helping to sell the lie. When you see that your attack stat is 0 out of 10, let's say, and then you're like, oh, I collect an attack upgrade. It goes to 1 out of 10. You die, and then it'll go back to 0 out of 10. So you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I did lose it. Whereas right now, the problem that we're having is people are told, hey, your stats reset, but they're like, but I'm more powerful. So I must have just misunderstood it. So it's easy to paper over it. Whereas if you see this, you're like, wait, something's not adding up. I definitely understood this correctly. I'm at 0 again, but I'm doing more damage. So I want that effect. Had last week off, says, am I doing live stuff? Went to an air show on Sunday. Boy, that was a great time. Yeah, there was an air show here in the Seattle area too. It just didn't end up happening because of wind, I guess. It happens every year. Everyone goes on to it's called Seafair. And everyone goes on to one of the bridges over here, and I think they shut down like road traffic. I-90. Do they not? Hold on. Am I wrong about this? All right. Well, anyway, my point was going to be imagine everyone on a bridge waiting for airplanes and they just never show up. But yeah, I don't know what happened exactly. Must be a bug to Discord. Yeah, that's possible that happens too. I got to keep an eye on this. But I think it's a very difficult balance to strike because on one hand, people will chalk up the extra power to not understanding. On the other hand, we lie so much to the player that they think it's a bug. So there's some like little fine line you got to walk here of getting them to be convinced that like, oh, it's a broken tutorial. I see. After you die in the top down, after you die, the stats. Okay, render health and your stats as individual bars arranged vertically, anchored to the upper left of the screen. There should be no background for this new UI. Okay, after you die, health resets to 100%, but all of the stats reset to 0. Visually reset to 0, even though they won't be 0 in right here in this. We want to make the player think that their stats went back to 0 by rendering them this way. Okay. Snowbirds. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably quite the sight in person. Running a betting pool. Game most wanted spun out. Feature most reported as a bug. Yeah, the feature most reported as a bug would be interesting. I was asking, so Matt played the game yesterday, and he had watched some of the stream, but he hadn't seen everything. And I asked him, like, okay, so what game would you want to see spun out? And we have only 5 right now. These. And he said, okay, look, the first 3 are not supposed to be like stand out in their genre. They resemble a lot of other games, but the Dungeon Racer, he said, is pretty unique. He also really liked the loot boxes game. So yeah, I think that, oh, and he also said that this would make for a pretty good demo. And part of it's because of the new story stuff that I added. So I think we will probably publish a demo at some point like this. Okay, render health in your stats as individual bars, arranged vertically, anchored to the upper left of the screen. There should be no background for this new UI. Keep life bar above the player, even though we'll have this new life bar. After you die, health resets to 100%. But all the stats visually reset to 0, even though they won't be 0 in this. All right, so this is good. Now we got to talk about how to render this. This is the annoying part. Maybe, can I just paste this in? No, that didn't work. Can I do this? Yeah, I can't. Ugh. I don't know how best to do this. Maybe I'll just take a picture like this. I can't really do that. Yeah, I can't really do that. Okay. I don't know. Let's just go paste it over here. Export PNG. Temp. Reference.png. Right now we attach that to here. Each. I want to create stats display. Each bar should look like the attached reference.png. We use the attached font to render a very short label string. All right, so health is HP. I wrote them all down over here, right? Yeah, here we go. Attack, ATK, movement speed, SPD, fire rate, FIR, luck, LCK, and defense should probably go up here. Defense, DEF. Okay, let's keep looking at this reference. We render an icon from the attached, what's it called? Skill systems or something. People click on it, report a bug, and it does a Dark Souls like, where you can see people leaving comments and you can read them. I think it's just enough of a metagame aspect. And like, it's a funny idea, but I think one of the problems is that it would pull people out of just enjoying the game. And anything that you have that lets people type random comments, you now need to think of them typing like offensive things and slurs. And this is supposed to be like a casual, kid-friendly game. So yeah, I can't do the idea, but I think it is funny. All right, so render an icon from the attached skill level system. Health is the the heart. It's going to take so long to do. And I don't trust that the AI is going to get this right. It's not very good at UI stuff. All right, so this is at 4832. 4832. And the size is 7x7. Okie dokie. Attack, sword, position. I mean, these are all just tile boundaries, right? So this should be 4864. Yeah. And they should all be 7x7 as well. Yeah. All icons are 7x7 in size. So heart at position 4832, sword at position 4864, defense, shield at position 4848. What's the next stat? Movement speed, boot at position 48. What are we going up by? 16, so 90. Fire rate, clock at position 4816, and luck orb, or like circle at position 48106. Just want to make sure I did that right. 96. Oh, right, 80. Might help if I know how to add numbers. All right, let's go back to our reference picture. All right, so the icon is 7x7. The actual number of segments are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. And it's offset how many pixels down? 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very short. We render a label 4 pixels down from the icon and... well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And 4 pixels to the right. Hey, Retired Android. Game is progressing really well. I did 3 playtests so far. 2 of them were unique people from the first time around. The other person who was not unique was my wife. She had played the first checkpoint. So she already kind of knew what to expect from the game. And as a result, we kind of skipped through the beginning a little bit quickly. But they all had fun. And I've gotten some good feedback. And I'm going to address some of that feedback this morning. And we're going to just keep, blazing a new trail with new games and everything. We're going to enter a stabilization phase for the next month or so, though. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. I want to set up a Steam page. I want to set up merch. I want to add controller glyphs to the game that are actually set up based on your controller. Yeah, there's a lot of like little things that need to be done. And that way, afterward, we can just focus on like game dev. And maybe I should hold off on some of the stuff here that's not super important, but I don't know. Anyway, we're working on a stats page now, and this is just a little bit difficult to specify. Okay, and then we render either gray or colorful segments directly to the right of the icon with no space between the icon and the segments or within individual segments. A month behind or so. Okay, yeah, so you probably didn't see a lot of the Dungeon Racer game. That's my favorite one so far. And it's been neat seeing people play it and seeing the reactions. And I don't know, one of the things that's kind of cool to do is like this game isn't supposed to be difficult, but it's presented as though it could be. So it's like, how do we sort of fool people into thinking that it's difficult and then slowly help them out? And one of the ways, I'll just give you an idea. Like we have coins. Imagine like a Sonic the Hedgehog style game, right? If you get hit, you lose your coins, but you can pick them up off the ground. So I'm just kind of papering over this, but imagine that. So in Sonic, you have 10 rings, you get hit. Now 10 rings go on the ground and you can pick them up. in this game, what we're doing to try to help you out is you might have like 10 rings. And if you get hit a ton of times, we'll start dropping 11 rings. And then we'll drop like 12 rings the next time and then 13 and so on and so forth. So that it's like we're subtly helping you out, but you wouldn't really notice all that much. And this is for the people who are like, to put it bluntly, really bad at the game. So they would never otherwise be able to beat it. And yeah, we just, kind of paper over it. And if you play enough times, you will eventually win. And maybe we could add some real difficulty later in the game, but I want to be careful about that. I think one of the best ways, at least for this game, the philosophy I want to have is things can be difficult at first, but they shouldn't stay that way for people who find it too hard. Another way we could have done it is just have like select the difficulty at the beginning. Easy, normal, hard, something like that. A lot of games have started making it now, so you can do this, but then you can change it at literally any time. You could be like mid battle and just set it to easy mode or something and have a better time at winning that fight. But then I always feel like the challenge is in my hands. I don't know. Wonder how much fun I'll have when I finally play this, knowing all the twists and quirks. Yeah. I think it'll be less fun knowing everything. But actually, so I showed it to Matt yesterday, and he said this in a positive way. He said something along the lines of, I didn't expect it to be this fun. I'm not totally sure. He went on to clarify a little bit more, but yeah, he was like, it actually feels pretty good. Like the games are nice. I think one of the things that's really working for this game is that switching between games leaves you on your toes. So you never really know what to expect. Like, am I going to go into a card game next? Am I going to go into a platformer? Will it be a tank game or something like that? And people have mentioned there are a couple other games that have done something like this. But yeah, I really, really like this idea. So I'm still super excited about developing this and making it into as good of an idea as I can possibly make it. All right, so the segments come from here. We got to go find out those. All segments are 5 by 6 in size. Gray is at 144.16. Come from... All right, so gray position there. Red for HP is just below that. Blue for what, defense? I mean, the colors don't really matter. I can change them if I want to, but yeah, let's do that for defense. 144.48. Then we have yellow for attack for some reason. I would not usually associate yellow with attack. That's at 64. Green for movement speed. Oh, these colors. Oh, darn it. These colors need to match the upgrade colors. Oh, God. All right, we'll write that down afterward. The new UI needs to match the upgrade colors. Or the upgrade colors need to match the new UI, which we don't have all of those. All right, well, whatever. Anyway, green is next. Where's green? Green is at 144.80. And then cyan for luck is at 144.96. Is that everything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm missing something. Oh, we need one for haste or fire rate. Okay, well, I don't know what to do now. I guess we gotta change the color of the icons at some point. Yeah. Fine. Segments are, oh man, okay, fine. So we render segments directly to the right of the icon with no space between the icon. No spaces, neither between the icon and the segments, nor between individual segments. The base segment is at position 144.16. And then colorful segments need to be custom made, I guess. I don't know, I don't know how to do this. Also, the gray ones have the line in a different spot. Maybe we just change the hue of like the yellow one or something. Platform is now running right to left. Yeah, that'll be a twist. You'll never know what to expect then. Colorful segments. What should be drawn with a shader? Gray segment should be used to represent missing health or to represent unobtained stats. When at 75% life, when at 75% life, I guess like 7 of the segments will render in red and... Or should we do partial segments? Do we round up or do we round down? We have to round up, right? Yeah, we have to round up because otherwise it'll look like you're dead before you're actually dead. When at 2 attack, 2 will render... Or what's our color for, I guess movement speed? Two segments will render in green and 8 will render in gray. Colorful segments should match, or like filled in should match the upgrade colors, although health should be... The colorful health segments should be red. To render these, figure out how best to render in these colors. A shader versus modifying PNG. For contiguous segments of the same color, we probably want to use a texture repeat property. All right, so I think we've said everything for that. Now we need to talk about the font. Yeah. Oh, we use the attached font to render this. Yeah. Okay, I already did talk about that, but I did not talk about how we do the coloring for this. The text drawn with that font should be outlined in black. It's not really in a pixel perfect way, is it? No, wait, hold on. That's just the text. What am I talking about? No, it's... What am I talking about? How do we do this? We're rendering the inverse of this, basically. Yeah. The glyphs drawn with the font actually represent the colored in area of the font. The color should be applied such that it's light in the top half and dark in the bottom half, for which I assume we'll need a shader. And each glyph should be outlined in black in a pixel perfect way. There should be only 1 pixel of spacing between the letters. See the reference image for an example of how all of this bullet point should be done. Yeah, I'm curious how good of a job this is going to do. And then when a stat exceeds the 10 segments that we show, simply add more segments to accommodate its value. If the attack stat becomes 17, no, it's not even a stat. It's how much you collected during a particular run. So stat bars are actually rendering how much of an upgrade you collected during a particular run. Okay. So yeah, so when you've collected more than 10 of a particular upgrade during a single run, simply add more segments to accommodate the current value. E.g., if you collect 10 attack upgrades, we'll fill each gray segment red. But upon collecting the 11th, we'll add an 11th red segment. Describe me what it sees and understand from the image I provided and ask it to iterate. Well, so what I'm trying to avoid here is any iteration. Well, except for on the prompt, I guess. Because I'm sick of having this thing like make UI. And I think if I'm just very specific about what I want, that it'll hopefully do a good job. But there is one other problem that we have here, which is that these icons don't match. But whatever, we can make the icons match in the right color. In fact, I could probably just do that myself. All right, so let's read this again. Have I accommodated everything we have from here? Use this as the font, add a shader, render the whole label against a black background. That's actually not true. Render it according to segments, stick to one color for now, create multicolored fonts. Render an icon, go beyond 10 of a stat, use repeating texture. You need to render gray if you're missing. Figure out how to represent more attack, we did that. New UI needs to match the upgrade color. We still need to do that. And then, yeah, animating this. When you collect an upgrade, animate the scale of the corresponding icon in the UI growing briefly before shrinking again. Add a wiggle to this animation too. Yeah, there. Okay, great. All right, let's kick it off and let's see if it'll do this correctly. So matching the upgrades to the right colors, let me just see really fast. We might not even have to do this really. For attack, we probably should. Movement's already green, that's fine. Defense is blue, I think that is correct. Yeah, luck is yellow. And the icon is blue, so luck we probably need to change. So attack should be red. Fire rate should be like plum or something. I don't know. Luck should be yellow. And defense and movement speed are already the right colors. So I only have to change 2 of these. So here's why I think this was potentially a mistake. Because I don't know if this is even going to look good. I think it looks decent. Where's our mock-up that we have? Yeah, here. I think this looks decent. Yeah, it's good enough. It's also the only place in the entire game we're going to be using pixel fonts so far. I always want to be really careful with pixel fonts because I don't think pixel fonts are the most readable all the time. But people do expect that aesthetic. Yeah, anyway, if it gets this done, then cool. All right, so what can we work on in the meantime? Well, I do have to take a break pretty soon. We have all this other feedback. I need to add lying stats to the top-down shooter, icon and numbers, animate them. Yeah, so let's just delete this. Character customization. Yeah, so he gave me some feedback on character customization. And one of the ideas was, I think, really good here. Well, I think several of them are good suggestions, but this one was an idea I hadn't thought of at least, which is that right now, and this is a little bit hard to get a feel for this if you're not the one controlling this, but right now I have this selection at the top and I can press right and left on the control stick to switch between them. And then I have to press down to switch to the hue now and change some of these values. So I'm changing the eyes right now. If I change the shirt, it's more obvious. If I just change the color of this. So you could also, though, press L and R to switch between the sections at the top without moving where the cursor is. He was saying that you should only be able to use L and R to switch the sections at the top. That you shouldn't be able to set the focus up here. And yeah, I think that would be better. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell. I need to have people test this out. Okay, no, I think this is where I wonder if there's something weird going on here. Let me try this. Because he said that the focus was getting set to some weird part of this. So if I change this and I press R and I press left, no, this is fine so far. So I just do this. I'm gonna. Oh wait, does it cycle? I think something's wrong. Something's got to be wrong here, right? Like, how is this working the way that it's working right now? I think the hue is getting set from a previous frame. If I set all these to the right, so now we're in. No, it got reset. Oh, it got reset to the beginning again. How did that happen? Maybe by setting it all the way to the right and then coming back here, it sets at the beginning. It does. So if I set it just barely not to the right. Okay, that seems like a bug. Yeah, I do need to add the buttons on screen for sure. And hey, cloud computing. Okay, let me write this down. I think there's a bug with the hue sliders. We're setting them all the way to the right and then switching categories to/from what you're on will have them set all the way to the left instead. That's a very peculiar issue. But yeah, let's take a quick break right now. Oh, darn it. I got to answer these questions really fast. All right, I'll snooze the ad really fast and then I'll answer these. All right, so which palette should be the filled segments and two-tone labels used? Use existing upgrade palette, attack red, defense blue. I'd like to read the rest of this, please. There we go. Speed green, fire purple, luck yellow, and HP red. Yeah, that's fine. I'll eventually change the life color, I think. The player currently has 120 max life. How should resets to 100% be interpreted? Leave gameplay balance unchanged. Render a full 10 segment bar. Yep, that's fine. How strong should the icon scale and wiggle pickup be? Crisp? Sure, whatever. I don't care about this. Hey, Method. Hey, Jessa. Does it happen the opposite way? Yeah, I don't know. I need to try that too. I don't think so, but let's see. No, it does not. It's only when you go all the way to the end of this and then switch back that it's at the beginning now. And by the way, in terms of color spectrum, it's imperceptible if there even is a difference because, I mean, it's like red over here and it's red over here. So it's supposed to represent a circle kind of. And actually, maybe we even want to do that. We want to make it so that it does loop around when you hold right. Saturation and brightness do not work that way. But yeah, the color spectrum does. So I don't know. Also, if this bug stayed in the game, I would not be super remiss. All right, I'm going to be back in a little bit. Is it jump time? Is that going to work? Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, hello again. Close the game. So let's see if this thing came up with a plan. All right, it did. Add a backgroundless HUD anchored 4 logical pixels from the upper left, containing 16 pixel pitch rows. In this order, HP attack, yeah, the order doesn't really matter. Preserve the existing health bar above the player. HUD will maintain presentation only upgrade counts for the current run. Persistent top-down shooter upgrade stats remain unchanged across deaths. Recreating the shooter scene resets the displayed counts to 0 and displays the player's existing 120 life as 100%. All right, import supplied sprite sheet and that in the game, preserving nearest neighbor pixel rendering and disabling font anti-aliasing, MSDF, and mipmaps. Add reusable stat row and segment strip controls. Begin the meter icon at icon +7. Draw segments. Each 1 pixel border coincides without gaps. Is that how that works? Oh, wow. That is how that works. Okay. Wow. I did not even realize. Cool. Draw only 10 slots for health, filling ceiling of this. That sounds good. Cache draw commands and redraw only when values change. Do not create a node per segment. Sounds good. Use a canvas item palette shader rather than generating modified PNGs. Preserve transparent pixels in the sprite sheet's dark outline. Render upper half in the canonical pickup color, lower half in that. Use HP attack, red. Yep. Yeah, I want to vary these colors a little bit. We'll figure that out later. Yeah, I should probably write that down too. Vary the colors of attack and HP so that they're distinct enough. Just slightly different reds, maybe. Hey, Faceless. Alternatively, we could change the icon or the potion color so that it's not quite red. Or maybe health could be in I was gonna say dark green, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought like a heart is gonna be red no matter what, right? Yeah. It's a video game. Hearts have to be red. Use font variation with 1 pixel of glyph spacing. Position the visible glyph ink 4 pixels right, 4 pixels down. Okay, sounds good. On upgrade collection, increment the corresponding HUD. Run counter only after the gameplay stat is applied. Animate that rose icon. Place the HUD below the game over and fade screen overlays. What? Oh, I see. All right. Okay, yeah. So this is good. I wonder how much this used for the plan. 88%. And how much will implementation take? Attack could be orange. Well, so what I'm trying to compare against is we have this. Where is it? Potions. Yeah, we have individual potion colors, and attack is currently this one. So we should probably take one of those 2 colors. And fire rate is this like plum colored one. So I want to match them to this. We could make it orange. We could actually change the potion color to orange. That'd be fine. Does that mean 12% left or 88% left? 88% left. Yeah. Hey, Becca. I'm not doing art. No. I am not drawing any of this stuff. If anything, I was saying I'll recolor this. That I'm usually fine doing because usually it's as simple as like you select some colors here and then go into something up here. I am still a novice at this program. New adjustment layer. Yeah, here we go. We could change like HSL and then just hue shift this to like a... That's kind of orange, right? Yeah, so maybe something like that. And we just do that for all of them. I would like to not do this though. So yeah, hopefully it's fine. But yeah, that's the level of artwork I can do, is changing colors of stuff. If you were like, hey, go get rid of the shadow, I can do that too. I'm pretty good at deleting stuff from art. But if you say add anything, I cannot do that. Yeah, the we is actually referring to Quickie Joe. Exactly. All right, so hue sliders. I want to go figure out what's happening with that. Character customization. Here we go. We have some sliders here. Here it is, HSV color picker. I wonder if this is how all sliders work in Godot. That wouldn't make sense. Yeah, no, that wouldn't make sense. Hue gradient. 0 to 1. from HSV. Here we go. Okay, good. Style box. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll ask this about it. And let's set this to Luna. I'll just have this run locally. On the character customization screen, if I set the... Does this work for everything? Is it just the hue? If it's just the hue, that might change things a bit. Because maybe there's something special done with hue there. So if I set this to the max and then go back to it. No, it's still at the max. Yeah, so hue is just treated specially. And brightness? Yep, brightness is fine. If I set it to the minimum, it's still fine. Yeah, so for some reason, hue goes around to the beginning again. If I set the hue to the highest value and then switch categories to/from the one that I'm on, the hue slider will be set to the lowest value. Like, technically, this is fine because both ends of the slider are red, but I'd like to stop this from happening. All right, let's run that. All right, what other feedback do we have here? So he said grab handles on hue sliders need to be wider and they should probably use a different color. He said category buttons at the top should probably look different if they don't have the focus. So maybe he also said that category buttons just shouldn't be able to have the focus at all. So I think that's probably the most sensible conclusion here. We just select hue by default and hair is selected and you can move this left and right. Well, I need there to be some brightness here because you can actually tell. You move this left and right. And then when you want to try a different color, you press R. And that's how this switches. I think the other nice thing about this is it'll teach you that R and L are important early on because most games use them. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be good. And then I don't think we need to change. I mean, he did say he wanted these to be wider. I don't want them to change too much as you select them. We could try widening it even more, I guess. I don't know. We could try it. Buttons already look different, not in focus by means of being the active one highlighted. Yeah, that's true. I think it's not super clear where the focus is if you just look at this briefly. Like this looks like it has it and hue looks like it has it. It's actually hue that has it right now. In fact, you know what? What if we just didn't even have... What if we didn't even have these at the top at all? So you just saw hue, saturation, and brightness, and you realized here that you're changing it for the hair. And then when you press a different key, you realize you're changing it for the shirt. And then you press a different key and you see you're changing it for the skin color. I think it's nice to have labels there. But yeah, I don't know the best way to... I don't know the best way to do this. Now, another thing we could potentially do is put the categories at the bottom. But then we'll have like a million buttons down there. I don't know about that either. Maybe we make these look less like buttons and more like just labels. Or maybe we render just a single label here saying what you're customizing. So it would say hair right now, and then it would change to saying shirt, and it would take up the same space. And you'd see this change too, of course. And that way for skin and eyes, you'd see the label over here. That might be the best. Although you would not know in combination with the L and R button icons. Yeah. Well, we could use this space for all of that, right? We could just say it can be set to hair right now, and we could have L and R to the left of it. I kind of like that. I think I kind of like that. So here's what I'm thinking. We get rid of this, 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 and this. This has something like L and R. And then just the label changes when you press this. So if you press R right now, it would change to saying eyes instead of skin. I don't like that this space would all just be blank. Like it looks fine when you got them crossed out in there, but if you did just delete them. So let's say I get rid of this and this. What is the color picker again? I. Whoops, what in the world? Why is this changing something? What am I doing? I'm trying to just use the color picker and it's like desaturating everything. I don't know what's happening. What's the other one that's here? Style picker? Oh, it says apply to selection. Okay, there we go. Wait, no, now it's not selecting anything. Oh my God, come on. How do you select the color? Oh, now it's got a color selected. Weird. Oh, I want the paint bucket. Fill tool G. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to select this color. There we go. No, now change everything blue. Oh, I am so confused. I think I have that like layer adjustment mask on somehow, and I don't know how I got to that. Or maybe I don't. Yeah, I cannot figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, well, let's just paste it into a sprite. We can't do that. It's pasting in this thing and that's it. I have to make a new image. Yay, we did it. Okay, so now I select come back graphic. What's going on? I hate art programs. How do you select nothing? I don't know how to do that. Oh, here we go. Select, deselect. Yay, look at me go. I'm deleting things. Now, there should be a pretty obvious color picker in here, right? Yes, good. And then there should be a flood fill thing in here. Paint bucket. We did it. Yeah, so this looks stupid now, right? Okay. It's slightly cropped. You could increase the size of the left preview and the right preview vertically, since the skin category no longer needs to be so big on the y-axis. Skin category no longer needs to be so big on the y. I'm not sure I understand the second part. I know you're saying that I can expand these upward, but I'm not sure how we'll indicate which category you're currently on. I guess it could just be a button down here. Well, it doesn't need to be a button, though. I guess it's just a display. Maybe we just have arrows pointing at the different things. Like we have arrow pointing here, and then at the eyes, and then at the face, and then at the shirt, and then at the boots. That could be interesting. Becoming a text label. Well, I don't like this style because this just being a text label is taking up the entirety of the width here. Although maybe you were saying to do something about that. But yeah, I think the arrow way could work. The problem with the arrow way is that it is vertical. So you're going from here down to the eyes, down to the face color, down to the shirt, down to the boots. So R and L, what you like if you rotate your controller, it makes sense that you're pressing R and going downward. I'm not sure. This requires some more thought. All right, fixed hue endpoint. Preserve each category's hue slider value. So this is just a couple of lines changed, right? Initialize channel hues. This seems like overkill, but if it works, it works. Let's go try it, because I'm not going to change the hue sliders in general. All right, so I go over to here, and I set this to the end, and then I switch to it again. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so now what I could do is if I hold right and just hold R, they should all go to red, right? If I do this for long enough. Yeah, nice. And then I go down here. Now they should all be fully saturated. Yep. And then I go down to here, and now they should all be maximum brightness. So we have a fully red character. Whoops. How do they look in the farming game? Oh, nice. Kind of like that, actually. What about over here? This I like a little bit less. I think it looks better in the cutesy art style. Yeah, like this looks a little bit better to me. This one we didn't customize yet. It working its way down the body. Yeah, I think that might be the best way to do things. Uh-oh, what happened here? No palette is set. Yarn project is not set. I think this is from me switching between games using cheats a whole lot. But it does not like that. Hey, Kojen. Looks stylistic now. RL could be shown in details box. Yeah, I was thinking at the bottom of the screen, we could say that R and L will switch your category. I think just having an arrow pointing then could be fine. I think that's what I want to do. So overall, here are the changes I want. We show an arrow pointing to the part of the body that you're changing. So hair, eyes, face for skin, shirt, and boots. And then we add text saying L/R change categories, change switch parts or something, change parts. I don't know. I don't know what you write here. And then we delete the 5 buttons at the top and start focus on the hue slider. Yeah. Hey, Toulouse. What about moving the skin button/label down about 20 pixels so it's in the corner of the close-up view, keeping L and R? Yeah, so that would work. I'm just concerned about it covering stuff, but I guess we could add the space that was currently being taken up there. So yeah, we could move this. Let me do it over here, I guess, or just draw an arrow or something. I will figure this out. There we go. Okay, and just draw this in white. So we could put this over here and expand this up. And I guess also expand this. Well, we're expanding them no matter what anyway, right? Because now we'll have the space. Keeping it in the zoomed in view on the right side. No, I don't want to cover the zoomed in view though. I think I just want to do the arrow route and see how that feels. Also, a few people now have commented that you can't change the pendant color. I wonder if we should just make that match the boot color. Maybe it should be like boot/misc. I should talk to Quickie Joe about that. Although I don't think he'll mind either way. Ask Quickie Joe if he's okay with me with assigning the pendant for the platformer character to be the boot color. People have been commenting. To change what you changed. Changes. All right, I want to at least try this way. So show an arrow pointing the part of the body that you're changing. We add text saying LR change parts. We delete the 5 buttons. We expand. We fill the space where the buttons used to be by increasing the height of the character previews. Yeah, I think we try that. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's finish this stuff. So this is fix bug with hue slider, setting it to the maximum values, then changing categories to / from the one you were on. Would set the hue back to the 0 value, not the max value. All right, that might not be super clear. Well, thanks, Toulouse. And yes, hi. Hi. Okay, so here's the real thing that we needed to look at. Oh, I see. That's still on step 1. Oh, God. How much of the plan have we used? Yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, I think now our new normal is using like 25% per day would be fine. And this resets on the 8th, which is 4 days from now. So we're definitely fine here. And I'm going to give it this task next. In fact, what we're doing right now has nothing to do with the hue, right? Yeah, so let's just go give it the task now. Did I check in flow control flags? I think I just did. I don't really care, but I got to remember that I just did that. I did do that. Okay, you know what? I care a little bit. But for now, let's just write a note. Note to Adam. Change flow control flags for the playtest tonight. All right, I cannot forget this. Yeah. All right, so let's go kick off this new plan. So plan in a new work tree using Sol High. All right, what do we do about the arrow? Do we have an arrow? Why are arrows like the hardest thing to figure out? All right, HUD arrows. Here we go. These look pretty nice, right? Do we use the one with a shadow in it? We should probably mock this up. Yeah, we should probably mock this up. Let's go put this onto a sprite. Can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. I'm thinking this, and it like hovers and kind of points left and right a little bit. So we want to take this graphic and put it onto here. And of course, make it much larger. Whoa, what is going on? Okay, how do you make this keep the aspect ratio? There we go. So what I'm thinking is this, it points like this, and then you press R and it goes down to here and it starts pointing at the eye. And you press R and it points to here. You press R and it points to here. And then it goes down to the boots. Does that look, I don't think the shadow is convincing though. Because if it goes over the top of this, it doesn't really look like it should have a shadow, right? So we should probably just get rid of the one, or get rid of the shadow. Just use this arrow. Let's try that out. But yes, I like this idea. I think this can work. Oh my God, it's so hard to do this. Why does it have... All right, let's try this again. How do I grab this thing? Oh my God. I hate programs. Okay, it's getting the background for some reason. Oh, this is so difficult. I have a gigantic mouse cursor, so it doesn't always point at the right things. I've seen this happen in other programs too, and in FL Studio, it's like the most annoying. But yeah, when I press shift here, it doesn't. Oh, maybe I need to select this first and then press shift. Okay. Might have been my bad. All right. That's pretty good, right? Will it be apparent to you that that's what's going on here? Because there's not going to be anything saying like press L or R to change, except for at the bottom, I guess. Yeah, all right, well, let's try it. All right, so HUD arrows, we don't even have it in the game right now. So let's go tell Codex to do all this stuff. And where is that specific arrow? It is at 9648. Okay, so I want to revamp the character customization. So get rid of the buttons at the top of the screen. Rotate the character arrows to me when placed up there. I'll mock this up and we'll see if it feels good. I'll be running 2 more playtests this week. So if they can figure out how to use that UI, then great. No one's had a problem so far with getting through it. It doesn't take them too long. They figured it out. So this is like just little improvements we can do to make it even better and more usable. And hopefully it works. Maybe an even better way of doing this is to change the hierarchy of the screen a little bit and swap the left and right sides. So that way the arrow would be pointing. The arrow would still be pointing the same way, but you wouldn't think that up and down would move the arrow. You'd be like, oh, I'm reading from left to right, so hue is what I'm expecting to control right now. In fact, maybe we swap all of this stuff. Maybe the best way of doing this is, I should probably write this down. Exception.txt, copy path, look into this. Okay, yeah, maybe the best way of doing this, let me run this, is we change this. Hey, Cakes, welcome in, welcome in. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Hey, now. Hey, Jin. Cakes, are you here? Have you started a new game? I want to know more. Hey, Philosopher Zero and Dig It Live. Yeah, so we were working on Stuck in a Broken tutorial. And one of the things I'm trying to figure out how best to do right now is set up the character customization screen. So there are a bunch of little problems here. And I'm going to kind of mock them up here. I don't want any of these buttons to be here. I want you to just press L and R and switch between what you're customizing. I think we also maybe swap these halves. So like this goes over to here. And even within this, these swap directions. So hue will be at the upper left. I'd love to mock this up quickly, but I'm just so bad at using these programs that I don't know the best way to do this. Let's see if I can kind of do this. So I want this over here. Oh my God. This is why I hate doing artwork ever. There we go. Okay, great. I want this over here. And then I want what used to be. I want this over on the other side. Okay, good. And then within this, I want these 2 parts swapped. I don't know if this is going to look good, but let's try it out. So I want this up here, and then I want this part down here. Okay, so here's the mock-up. I was thinking maybe this works, maybe this doesn't. And then all of this should be deleted. I need to select that. There we go. Yeah. So imagine that that's just blank space. And that these are extended upward a little bit. So now hue is where you would clearly see that your focus is. Like hue is selected to begin with. and you'd see your change here and over here. And there'd be an arrow pointing on this side. Yeah, Chris, how far are you? We have about 80 minutes of gameplay now. It's been about 4 months of development. Yeah, so is this better? I don't know. Maybe we do that afterward. Maybe I'll just take a screenshot of this or something. Yeah. I'll just take a picture of this. Maybe try this layout on for size. My thinking is that it'll be very obvious what has the focus at the beginning. And the floating arrows won't confuse people. Well, the game doesn't really matter too much here because this is just the character customization screen. So like the way it works right now is, and I want to get rid of these buttons at the top, but right now you can select like hair, shirt, skin, eyes, boots, or shorts. And you can also press L and R to switch between them. But because the focus can go up here, it's not super clear that you have to press down to get it down to hue and then start changing stuff. So like now that I'm sliding this, okay, yeah, it's clear what I'm changing. And as I press L and R, I can change anything else here. And like this works how you'd expect once you're here and you've tried it a little bit. But yeah, how can we make this even better? And yeah, I think it's delete all of these. I think we're going to make an arrow pointing at the different parts of the body that you're modifying. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to try. And then I think shifting around just these components could be better, but we'll see how that works. Okay, so I want to go back to this. So get rid of the 5 buttons at the top of the screen. Yeah, what else are we doing here? It's everything I wrote down here. Okay, so now to indicate which color you're changing, we'll have an arrow pointing from the left to the part on the zoomed out character. All right, yeah. This arrow should tween between pointing directly at the spot to being like, I don't know, 40 pixels left of that spot. It should use a sign, was it sign easing or sign transition? Transition type. This and this. Okay, what else? Add text at the bottom saying L/R, change sections. I don't know. I still don't know how you indicate that you're changing between the parts you're coloring. Like, what do you call these that we used to have at the top? Where's the original image? I don't even have the original image anymore. I guess I just Command Z this a bunch of times.
Whoops.
Yeah, what would you call these at the top? Tabs? Change tabs? They're not tabs anymore. You won't see these anymore. So like these will all be gone. So it'll say at the bottom LR colon something. Change. I don't know. Change pages. But still, like there are no pages here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like change focus, maybe? Because the focus is still like the arrow. Change selection. Yeah, selection could work. I think that could work. Okay. Yeah. Change selection. All right, now what? Delete the 5 buttons. Oh, yeah. So in the space freed up by removing the buttons, expand the heights of the character previews and start with the focus on the hue slider. All right, let's do this. And now let's take a look and see how this thing worked. So do I have any outstanding changes over here? No, I don't. Good. All right, so work tree, local checkout. Whew, what a day. Okay, merge this eventually. And let's go try it. So this is the stat output that we had to work on. And I'm hoping it just got it right the very first go because I don't want to do any of this. Uh-oh. Was this branched before I changed flow control flags? I think it was. It didn't exactly work, but it's not bad. Ah, nice. The animation's working. That's a different process. So if I'm about to collect defense, watch the little animation up there. That's pretty cool. The meters look fine. It's just the text I'm not super happy with. All right, so let's say we die. Now they should all go back to 0, but they're not really 0. I want to collect more now. Yeah, nice. This is so great. Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Let's go to grant myself more of these upgrades. Yeah, and you can see the bars just keep expanding. That's fine. I don't think people will actually ever get that many. And if they do, it's supposed to look a little bit broken. So now let's go to the final boss. Collecting more and more of these upgrades. Did it do a good job? Yeah, I think it did a pretty good job. I'm just not super happy with the text and maybe the size, but... So we should see health drop over here, right? Yeah, we do. We do. So we should no longer be able to collect fire rate or speed. So we'll only see 3 of these bars grow because we maxed out the other ones. There's no indication of that, of course. Now that's a lot of power. Oh. Are the plus power floaties going to incorporate new colors too? Oh, like the text here? You know what would probably be best? Like seeing this little potion like go over to the attack thing here. So it like flies over to the side and gets absorbed into the animation almost. Then we can get rid of the floating text altogether. Right? I think that would look pretty good. Consider having the potions fly from where they are into the icon in the UI and then trigger the animation. That way we can get rid of the floating text. And it'll draw more attention to your stats. Okay. Hey, bye, heck. Power versus attack on bar for naming consistency. Oh yeah, that we're gonna have to change. Yeah, if we don't do this, we can't have plus power show up when you get a potion since the UI says attack. We could change the UI to say POW if we want. Yeah, I think it's fine. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Also, let me give some points to Chesta and bye heck for that. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to take a look at here is this text. It's legible. I think a white outline might be slightly better because it's against a dark background, but it didn't do the spacing the way I wanted it to do it. Where's the reference picture? Whoops. Oh, I want to close that. Yeah, here was the reference picture. It's supposed to put the text like right next to each other. And we clearly don't have that. Hmm. Also, I think I want the meters a little bit closer to one another, but that's pretty minor. In fact, that's something I can just go change myself right now. Stat. I don't know what it's called. Stat bar, stat display. Stats display. We go into here, we go into this. We change the separation. It's currently 5. That's actually not a lot. Maybe because we're scaling it up. Hey, Rylan. Yeah, maybe 2 is better. I don't know. How's that look? Yeah, I think that's better. It's a little bit more compact. I guess I don't like that the reference photo covers the icons with the text. I think if I'm going to do anything, I'll cover the bar with the text. So maybe we nudge that to the side now. Yeah, that'd probably look better. Let's do a couple things. Let's turn this off and put this back in windowed mode. Hey, Ramu. Happy lurking. All right, so label. This is currently at 4 pixels down and 4 pixels right, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it's 4 and -3. Bizarre. But I think I want to move this farther to the right. So just maybe like that. How's that look? Okay. Maybe a little to the left now. All right, yeah, that's pretty good. Now I want the text to be more condensed. Hey, 3D Extended. Yeah, long time no see. I've been really well. How have you been doing? I'm assuming still busy as always. But hopefully you're all settled in the house and things are going well. You're president of the company now. Yeah, I want a thicker outline around the text and less spacing. There's the less spacing part. In fact, if we set this to -1, then it's touching. That's probably not good. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I just want a bolder outline or something around this. Kind of want the font size to be a little bit bigger. Font size is 16 right now. I mean, you can only change this. Well, what's the base size? It's 16 to begin with, so you can only really set it to 32, I guess, and have it look good. And then that's gonna be way too big for these bars. We could expand the size of the bars a little bit. Would it be that bad if I doubled the size of this? Switch jobs, and I'm now in the next transition. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to hear more. I mean, you don't have to share it here necessarily, but like what caused you to switch? And what is the new job and everything? Yeah, but like I said, you don't have to share here if you don't want to. But congrats, I'm sure. Everything. Sounds great. All right, so as mentioned, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to scaling this, so I don't know how to do any of this. Crop tool. Does this let me? No. Oh my God, how do you do any of this? Affinities, scale, selection. How do I resize the selection marquee? No, I want to select the move tool to do it. Okay. All right, I guess we put it in a new layer and then select this and then just drag it. Yeah, nice. Okay. So I want to get it to be double the size, which is unfortunate that I don't know what the starting size is. What is this? Width is 330. So let's set it to 660. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there it is. 660. All right, that's close enough. That's too much of the screen, right? It's taking up like half the screen. Yeah, it's too much of the screen. Also, pressing minus is no longer needed, huh? Pressing minus to see life temporarily is no longer needed. Driving for the job is too much in the end. Berlin. So reflecting on your final question in the mentoring a bunch, what do I want and what happens after becoming CTO? And I have a new goal plan. A new job is the first step on the new path. New job is software dev and it's consulting. Oh, wow. That's quite the change. Wow. Well, I hope it goes well. Like I say, congratulations. That's awesome. I appreciate the update and everything. This means you can now watch the stream more. That's all I've taken from everything you've said. That's it. 3D Extended is now here 24/7. Yeah, congrats. Okay, so I just want to change the outline a little bit. I don't know how we should do this. Let me mute this. It does mean that. Fantastic. Font outline is black. What if we set it to white? Does that make it more legible? Oh, it does not work that way because changing the font outline is considered part of the shader input. Oh, no. So it needs to be this color. Okay, maybe I just want it to be a little bit thicker. Let's change this to 2. How's that look? Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. In fact, that's pretty much perfect, I think. Yeah. That's great. Okay, there's something else I'm realizing though. So right now you pick up a power up. Let's turn off the collision here. It's not going to change in real time. It'll change the next time around. But yeah, let's say you collect a power up. So right now it says above it plus movement speed. Up here it only says SPD. And here it says FIR. So like these are not super clear what these represent. Now we have enough space where we could spell out longer words. This could say attack. This could say defense. This could say speed. This could say fire rate. It would still fit, I think. And this could say luck. That would work. Alternatively, we could keep these as well. So it could say plus movement speed, and then you see the speed stack go up, and you're like, okay, that's movement speed. I mean, you'd also feel that movement speed is increasing. So plus power. Yeah, that should probably say POW at the top. I will do that change. But yeah, maybe we keep the floating text for now. I think we do. But yeah, all in all, this worked. I mean, it did a pretty good job. Yeah. So when we die, it goes back to 0, but not really. It just lies to the player. And now it says you died, you don't keep your upgrades. Here's something to get you going again. Yeah. I'm hoping this sells the lie. You can turn on the sound again. All right, just avoid these guys. Leave here. Color as a power-up text according to the stat itself. Yeah, I wonder if we should give that a shot too. Yeah, I think this is interesting. I really like the stat display, by the way. I think it's pretty good. I think I do want the floating text. I think it'll be a little bit too hard otherwise to tell what everything is. I don't know. I'm torn. All right, let's go into the treasure room, which we are not at yet, so I don't know why I said that so soon. Oh, I don't know the rooms myself. Dead end. So here we might see one of the meters go beyond max. No, oh yeah, luck just went beyond max, and bullets got bigger now. Yeah, this is very cool. Very cool. All right, so if we were to die here, let's walk into the boss. These will all go back down to 0, but the player will definitely know that, like, okay, I'm moving faster. Like, something's wrong here. So yeah, I gotta monitor this. Hey, Vampire. Where did I buy it? How much did it cost? I've been looking at split keyboards, and they're kind of crazy expensive. Yeah, so I sourced all the parts myself and built it. It probably cost about $150, but this was, what, 5 years ago or something? And it's a gigantic hassle. But yes, there are pre-built keyboards. They are expensive. There's just kind of no way around. Like, even building it as cheaply as possible, you'd probably still spend like 60 bucks. Maybe your best bet is like an AliExpress kind of site. They sometimes sell them for cheaper. All right, so our defense has gone beyond maximum, so I don't think we can really take damage anymore. Yeah, we're taking barely any. I think this was an overall good change. Yeah. Just stood on top of where the power-ups get collected. Look at that power bar. Nice. Nice. Change the floaties to plus symbol graphic. That way they don't need localizing, and also accommodate reading capabilities of all levels. So that's possible. I'm just concerned that it won't be clear from this. Well, do I have the screenshot somewhere else? I don't think it'll be clear. I don't have it. From things like fire, that it's your fire rate. And what's the other one? Speed, I guess, is a little more obvious. Luck is obviously luck, although it's not explained even here what that means. Yeah, I don't know. I'll still have to mess around with this a little bit. But in general, this is feeling pretty good. So yeah, let's change attack to POW. Label POW. Yeah. And we don't have to keep them abbreviated on the bar. But one of the other problems that's always really, really tough with this is, like, I have a pixel font now, and I have text that works in English. So, like, let's say I did type out fire rate. That's 8 letters with a space, so 9 characters. 9 characters probably fits here just fine. But what about in German? What about in whatever, Italian or something? Like, what happens if it extends all the way out to here? Then what do we do? It's like, well, with a pixel font, you can't really just say, like, well, we'll just bump it down a little bit. It'll start to look bad. And yeah. So I think we do need to keep these pretty small. And that's where I think keeping the text here is better. Like we can write out however much you need here. Movement speed looks fine. It's not in a pixel font. Yeah, I do like the idea of the icon flying over there though. I think that'd be cool. What is this word? Rate of fire. Let me just see out of curiosity. How much did that break the UI? Oh yeah, that's fine. You can now walk onto the text. Hey, out of curiosity, what would you shorten this to? Like if you had to make it as small as possible, like how we shortened it to FIR for fire rate, would it fit in, 4 or 5 characters? Because as long as we can have some shortened thing here, it's not the translation I would use. Okay, yeah. Oh, and this one needs, how quickly should the arrow travel? How should the new selection hint relate to existing XY hints? There we go. Okay, so I got to check this in. What other changes do we want to make? Yeah, pressing minus to see your life is no longer needed. Yeah, I'll remove that afterward. All right, we got the stats display. Sounds good, looks good. We got the stats display there. Unique name and owner is fine. Life and max life, why is this blue? Convert into auto property with private setter. Sure. And why is this orange? Does not access instance data and can be marked static. Where is it even used? Health changed, passes in max life. Why? Yeah, I mean, at this point, it could just be that we expose that constant starting life and just make this public. In which case, we don't need to pass it around anymore. I don't know. I'm always kind of torn about this. I think this is fine. Let's just keep it how it is. Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to get nitpicky about code that runs in constant time. It's like, yeah, sure, it's a static thing accessing a constant. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It might even get compiled out anyway. And like health change doesn't need to pass another integer over. Yeah, not a big deal. All right, if life is greater than 0, do all this stuff. Yep, this is fine. Health change now gets invoked. Upgrade colors. Yep, that's fine. Yep, so this is in a different place now. That's okay. This is the new graphic. One of those should have been the font, right? Yep, that was the font. Top-down shooter stat bar. This is probably pretty straightforward. A strip of missing segments. This doesn't do any allocations, right? Q, redraw, draw texture. Nice, yeah. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right, let's make this stuff private. Go back to here. Let's snooze this while I'm reviewing this right now. Abbreviations like DPS are used in German translations as well, so maybe I would not translate. I see. Yeah, as long as there's something that kind of fits for that. Like I imagine in every language now, because of how popular RPGs have gotten, like attack and defense being shortened to something small, it's probably pretty standardized. I don't know what this would be in German, but like there's got to be something that's short for it. And yeah, HP, yeah, something like DPS, those sorts of things. Yeah, luck, who knows? Fire rate, we could probably call it something else maybe. But I think those are not insurmountable challenges. I think if we use the full words, it would potentially be insurmountable. we would probably need to change how the UI renders. Okay, where do we leave off with this? I mean, this all worked pretty well. Yeah, nice. We have this too. Create color material. Yeah, this worked just fine as well. And it looks pretty good, right? I mean, well, the colors don't exactly match yet. We're going to fix that at some point. That bar missing segments. Okay, looks fine. We have a shader here. Yeah, this I'm not going to review too closely. If the shader works, it works. This was all fine. Set health, add upgrade. Yeah, pretty good. All these are, this doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have here? Get with, yep, this is fine. And finally, the colors. And this is probably going to say we're not using every arm here. There's no default. Add missing arms. Yeah, I don't care about that. Wait, what are the missing arms? Health? No, none. I don't care about none. Okie dokie. Add stats UI to the top-down shooter. The entire point of this is to sell the lie that you don't keep your upgrades. Hey, Alex. Icons can work wonders too. Yeah, I guess if we got a custom icon that looked like a gun firing, it might be clearer. But right now it's a clock, which I'm okay with. I think it's still fine. It's close enough, but luck would need to change. In fact, actually, maybe I should ask Quickie Joe for a Clover graphic or something. Quickie Joe for a Clover icon should be like 7x7. Well, like, yeah. Share bounds and the reference icons and what it represents. All right, consider having the potions fly from where they are into the icon in the UI and then trigger the animation. That way we can get rid of the floating text. I don't want to get rid of the floating text. I do want to get rid of the pressing minus thing. What's this plan? Move 5 color channel buttons, replace them with an animated arrow targeting the selected character region, enlarge both previews, combine the controller hints, and initially focus the hue slider. Sounds great. Copy HUD arrows. Yep. Add the arrows as sprite 2D above the character. Reuse the existing per channel target coordinates. Oh, wow. That's perfect. Yeah, that's really perfect. Okay. On selection or viewport positioning changes, kill the prior tween, snap the arrow, loop that position. Each one last time. Yep, sounds good. Move all channel button nodes, fields, bindings, pressed state logic. Yep. Rewire focus navigation into a loop through those. Yep. Expand freed preview area by 34 logical pixels. 34. I mean, maybe that was the size of it. I don't know. Update full viewport, recenter full character, keep existing controller hint localization key, changes in English text. Use upper right facing, what? Use upper right facing arrow variant from the supplied sheet at native 16x16 size. Did I not tell it what the coordinates were? Oh my God, I did not. What is it trying to do then? Where are those arrows? Huh, I don't know where they are. HUD arrows should be in here somewhere, right? There it is. So wait a second, which one of these did I like? It was this one. And what is it saying that it wants to use? Upper right facing arrow variant from supplied sheet. Upper right facing arrow variant. It's trying to use this one that doesn't have the box on it. I kind of like the outlined one. So I guess I should have specified. I did not realize I did not do that. All right, so 9648. So let's just X out of this. And we're not in plan mode. Okay, so implement the plan, but the arrow graphic should be used, should be the one at 9648. It's still 16x16. Okay, let me just make sure this gets kicked off. Then I'll take a quick break. We still have a lot of little things we need to do. Is it implementing it? It might say, here's the new plan, and that's what I'm trying to avoid here. Okay, no, it's just doing it. All right, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello, hello. Hey, Clonk. Hard mode indeed. Sorry about that. Close the game. Hope you're doing well. We are making tons of progress over here. Tons of progress. Oh, man. Okay, so this is fixed. The stat screen is now implemented. Well, we did most of this stuff. I didn't do these things. And then what I read about that icon, yeah, this. Put this down here. Yeah, how's everything going in Clonkland? And when are you renaming your stream to Clonkland? All right, so we should merge this branch. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. Git switch main git merge this. Good. This can go in the afternoon section. Tomorrow should be a fun day. Looking at this exception. Yeah, how are we doing on... And I've not gotten used to this yet. Close tabs below. How are we doing on AI usage? 80%. Okay, that's fine. Got through stats implementation and most of the character customization screen. How are we doing on that? Presumably it's close to done. Keeping it normal broadly, no complaints. I hear that Adam Land is doing well. Also, it's actually Adam World. Please call it by its name, or you can call it Adam Learns Live World. I'll never get this man to change. All right, when you get this super gun, power can flash red or rainbow or something. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think this is like a polishing we do later. The new UI needs to match the upgrade colors. Let's figure that part out. My mistake noted. Excellently done. All right, so it should start us right in here. Yeah, it does. Okay, so power is a yellow sword icon. I want to change that. Fire rate being a clock for now, whatever, it can be white. I think it's fine. Luck should probably change to yellow. So I think we just change those two icons. Oh, wait, there's going to be a problem though, because, oh, darn it. Might need to change movement speed to yellow so that the clover can stay. Oh God, this is so difficult. Clover should be green, right? Which means you should change movement speed to yellow. I maybe just shouldn't do anything yet. No, yeah, new colors, attack, change sword to red, luck, change everything to yellow. The icon should be yellow, and the potion used should be yellow. Speed, change everything to, or whoops, I said green. I meant green. Change everything to yellow. So the icon should be yellow. The potion should be yellow. And then what was the other one? Fire rate. Fire rate can stay plum colored. It doesn't match the icon though. The icon is white. Where is the icon? Why is it so hard to find these things? Yeah, it could stay white. We could change the potion color to white maybe. Or lighten it. No idea how annoying it is. I'm trying to correct it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start calling you J. FB J. was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I try to ask people what they prefer, and then I try to write it down. I think what always kind of messes me up is when there is a name that ends in two different ways. Like I don't know, Diane is a good example. There's Diane and Diana, and they're so similar that you might remember that they prefer their full name, but you might not remember what their full name is. Yeah. Fire rate, maybe like change the potion white. No, this just isn't worth doing. Yeah, let's keep it like that. And then change text color slightly to match the potion color rather than the HP color. You have to start out using their real name. I'd always just be like, hey, I hear other people calling you this. Can I call you that too? And every once in a while, you got to be careful if you're meeting. I mean, this wouldn't happen in a business setting usually, but if you're meeting a couple and the couple calls each other their like pet names that are not meant for other people. That doesn't often bite me, I guess. All right, so here's what they have. This arrow looks horrendous. So we're going to need to make some changes, I guess. But let's go take a look. So local checkout, handoff. Let's copy this. We're going to have to merge this branch later. Merge this. Also, I guess as an AI task at some point, when I do a local handoff, can codex merge detect that too and allow me to merge? Sweetie pie. None of them are called by their real name. How do you shorten that? Or do they go by some other like totally different nickname? Like I know some Russian names have different nicknames from what the like you wouldn't necessarily know that it's a nickname for that name, at least in English. All right, let's go try this out. I'm expecting the arrow to look bad, but the rest of this to look pretty good. Let's cross our fingers and hope. Full screen. Yeah, so the arrow does indeed look bad. Like really bad. But this is a much nicer screen, right? It's less cluttered. It didn't add the text at the bottom for some reason. I don't know how that happened. Wait, what? It just skipped over. Oh, no. This should go top to bottom. Yeah, we got to change that. So I want to make the arrow bigger. I want to make it point at a new location. Like in this case, it should be pointing the boot, not where it should be centered over here. So yeah, we got to change a bunch of things. All right, but this we can probably change to a lower model. So let's use Luna. All right, so yeah, what happened to the text? Added combined L, R, X, and Y hint. I didn't see that at all. Close, don't save. Customization. Hey, Matt. Why does John need a nickname? I don't see that one as much anymore. Actually, yeah, I don't see that one as much anymore. I've met, I think, only one person in my life who went by Jack. So maybe I'm not the person to ask about that. Yeah, I don't see any text there. I don't know what this was supposed to be. Controller hints. Oh, maybe it's supposed to modify the localization repo and it didn't. Now it looks like it just dropped this or something. What happened? Or it didn't commit to the right. I'm so confused. It says it made this change. Yeah, it's right here that it made the change. It just didn't actually get committed. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. All right, well, where did the text go? I don't even see it in here. Here it is. Scenes.po. X colon, yeah, this. Are there supposed to be extra quotes at the side? No, no, no. What am I doing? Yeah. Okay, let's try that. In the UK, Jack is probably a top 10 name. Oh, really? Huh. All right, so LR change selection. That's pretty good. Yeah, so I want to change the order of the selections, and I want to change the thing that they point at. So change the order that L/R cycle through. Hair, then eyes, skin, shirt, boots. And then manifest. There's a point where they look. I got to go figure out where that is. There's some dictionary here. Yeah, here it is. Detail centers. Manifest a new dictionary. Or maybe we do this a little bit differently. Maybe we put everything together. Vector 2. This is detail centers. It could just be another dictionary. Yeah. Manifest a new dictionary for arrow targets for each palette channel. For now, set them to any vector 2. I'll manually change them. Hey, Appleseed. Why the arrows needed when the entire other half of the screen zooms in? Yeah, it is 2 indicators for the same thing because I'm concerned that eyes and skin are not going to be clear. When you're zoomed in and changing the skin color here, it's clear that you're changing the skin. But when you switch to eyes, like the camera doesn't move at all. Or maybe it moves by a pixel or something. But yeah, so this is skin, this is eyes. And if you don't see the pointer, you might not realize you're currently changing the eye color. And I think it'll be clearer that when you press R and L, you're seeing the arrow move as well. So I think it'll help. And then I'm going to manually expand the arrow myself. So let's do this. Okay, so got to write those things down though. Manually expand the arrow, maybe slow it down a bit. Yeah, and I also wanted to try this layout. I'm not sure if this would be better. Because right now we have it swapped around a bit. Hey, Ramy. I don't know. I mean, it'd be easy enough to just try the different layout. Yeah. And it doesn't even change the focus order, so it should be dead simple for me to do. All right, well, anyway, let's go cancel out of this, quit this. Cycle enumeration is now ordered hair, eyes, skin, shirt, shoes. Arrow targets is a separate per channel dictionary. Yeah, so it should be done. How good is your art design? My art is terrible. Hate to find. I don't do artwork. Design, I kind of split into 2 different things, or 3 different things maybe, like art design, UI design, and game design. So this, again, would be horrible. This would be like a 2 out of 10 maybe, or maybe a 3 out of 10. And game design might be like a, I don't know, 7 out of 10 if I'm rating myself. So this would be like a 0 out of 10. So this is how I'd rate myself at least. Text on top of the palettes stating the target instead of the arrow, probably more concrete. I had thought about that. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I want to test the arrow out at least a little bit more and just see how that feels. Oh, Rymo, thanks for gifting a sub to Ramy. Also, wow, 71 gifted subs. My goodness. All right, so now it's pointing to, yeah, the same stuff. It doesn't matter. And I now cycle through them from top to bottom. Yes, good, cool. So now I just got to make them point to different stuff. Let's go do that. We also need to change that arrow. Where is the arrow? It's right there. I want this to be much larger. So a scale of not 5, maybe 3. Yeah, 3 seems pretty good. All right, so when pointing at the hair, I think it should point here. So that is 8534. 8534. Let me make sure that actually works because that might not be correct. Gotta get you that first badge back. Yeah. No, that is not correct. It's pointing at some like random other thing. Oh, because this is not relative to this and needs to be. So I gotta set this to, well, what was it originally? I want 8534 in the global viewport. It's 20 comma 6. Where is that pointing? I think it's relative to the sprite right now. No, I don't know what that's relative to. Oh, it's probably the center of the graphic. Oh my god. So here's where it ends up, which is pointing to like this pixel here. And that's somehow 20 comma 6. Oh, because this is centered too. This is not great. I think what's happening is it is scaled 3x from this portion up here. Yeah, the viewport. So if I put a node, or I guess a marker 2D, and I scale this by 3, and I set this to 26, and I guess multiply everything by 3. No, even that's not correct. I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. Full sprite position. Okay, so it's based on the sprite's position. So I got to put this underneath the sprite. Even that I don't understand. Well, minus character frame center times full preview scale. What I should do is just write some code really quickly that'll let me just position this in the game using the arrow keys and then just pick whatever number comes out of it. Alternatively, we just offset it visually. So like here, 26 is too much. So we set it to 10.6 and see what it feels like. Excuse me. Also, this is going to bother me to no end. I want to start on the title screen. Title screen. Now I can just press the button and immediately see this thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now eyes. It is pointing to the right eye. I want it to point to the left eye. Skin. I want it to point to the middle of the face. So maybe like 10 and 20. All right, shirt. Shirt, I want it to point to the sleeve, I think. So 5. And shoes. Yeah, I also need to change this. Maybe like also 5. All right, I don't know. This is me just guessing pretty much. And then we're going to just change it. All right, so eyes needs to point a little bit farther to the right. I guess we could do it based on where the hair is. Does that go? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so those align. Then skin. That's eye, that's skin. Skin should be up a pixel and over like 4 pixels. Shirt is like 2 more pixels over to the side. And shoes, maybe like 1 pixel over. Okay, that should be good. Okay. That should be 1 pixel farther down. Skin, 1 pixel farther up. Shirt, 2 pixels over. And shoes looking pretty great. I'd move that also. Like, is this the new dance? Hey, Corpsey. Yeah, everyone's doing it. Stuck in a broken tutorial dance. Gonna really spread the name of the game. I mean, if we're gonna point over there, we might as well point like into the middle of the hair. All right, pretty good. So let's try this out as though I'm actually playing the game. I'm gonna full screen this.
Whoops.
And go back to the title screen. And just see if I made it over to here, what would I be doing? So yeah, my attention is immediately drawn to this. And why does that look so bad now? Why is that pointing like way over there? Oh God. Are these viewport dependent? Oh no. Oh, this is the worst. So if it's windowed, it's fine. And if it's not windowed, it's... No, now it's just pointing to like totally random spots. What's going on? What? What is going on? Oh, I have two different windows open. Okay, my bad. That was an old version. Okay, yeah. Let's just close everything. Okay, well, I'm glad. I would have just caused a bunch of code by not realizing I had two copies of the game open. Yeah, there's no problem with it being full screen. All right, anyway, I wanted to customize it. So yeah, my attention is drawn here. I actually don't like that. I think it should be drawn to the hue, which means we need to move this up here at the top. I think it'd be clearer. Yeah. Or we just get rid of the arrow like Appleseed said, and when it comes to eyes and skin, you just realize what's happening here. Maybe we like super zoom in on the eyes. Well, but then we won't have anything else we can do. Wait, could we? How would we do that? No, yeah, I want to just lay out the screen a little differently. But let's go review the code, check this in, and then try the other changes I want to make. Yeah, so all these buttons got deleted. I don't feel like they were necessary, so I am glad we changed that. Now, I do want the tween to start by facing right. I think that'd be better if we keep the arrow. So this is good. If we keep the arrow, then we should start its tween so that it travels right to begin with. Yeah. All right, let's look at some other things we got here. That's fine. This is fine. We got rid of a bunch of buttons. We changed the UI around. This should not be checked in. So just ignore that one. But everything else is looking good. Yeah, everything else is looking good. Cool. All right, so check in everything except for that. Revamp character customization screen. I got rid of the 5 buttons at the top since they were a little confusing to last night's playtester. All right, so now I wanted to change the UI itself. Let's go do that. That should be pretty simple. Except for this is called right column. So now I don't want to do this myself anymore. Yeah, so we put this first. And we just call this something like, I don't know, column. VBox container. I don't know. It doesn't even need a name. And then swap the order of this and this. And that's what I want to test out. So does this put your attention where you would expect it to be? I wonder. Sorry, I wanted the full screen first. There we go. Okay. I almost wonder if we should swap these again. I do like the arrow now, because now it makes it clear that it's pointing at the eyes. Yeah, I do like the arrow now that it's not on the left. So I think I like this, but I'm not certain I like this being on the top. How would it work with a mouse? It wouldn't. You're not supposed to use a mouse for this game. It's only keyboard or only controller. And it's not really supposed to be for keyboard. Okay, so now the only other change I'm curious about is what if I swap these two again? Would this still be clear? It's less clear because the first thing you're drawn to is not the sliders you have selected here. But I do like that this puts it close to these buttons as well. So the focus is very obviously switching from here down to the bottom. Also, the boot position should change by like 1 pixel. I know this is really nitpicky. There. Yeah, I think I like this better. Now, there's just one other tiny problem here, which is that the slider starts on hue, but changing the hue of white does pretty much nothing. Like, yeah, you can see it changing a little bit. Hey, hang on 1 second. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. My wife has been sick, and she went to a doctor, and I just want to answer her phone call in case it was a problem. She said that everything's pretty much fine. So, no worries. Okay, so yeah, so there's just this little problem, and there are a couple things we could do about this. One is we could randomize the saturation or move it like a little bit to the side even, so that your hair, well, I don't know, I want it to be the default character though. Hope she feels better soon. Yeah, I'll pass that on. I think she's mostly better. It's just there's been a lingering cough for quite some time. Yeah, cool. Well, we'll try this out and see how this feels later. All right, let's go check that in. Rearrange. Oh, you know what we should do? We should check in just this by amending the last commit. Yeah. And then rearrange panels in customization screen. This makes your, well, rationale was this. Your attention is less likely to immediately jump to the arrow. And the focusable controls are all near each other. Yeah, there we go. All right, so then revert this. Go merge this in. Git switch main, git merge that. All right, we should be done there. Try this layout, we're done. It should be obvious what has the focus. If we keep the arrow, we should start its tween so it travels right to begin with. Yeah, that should be a pretty easy change to make. So we'll just have this run, we'll run this locally on Luna High. That sounds good. All right, so the tween that happens in, what is it called? Tween, selection arrow tween, here it is. And this, let me figure out what's going on right now. Just stopped this week? Wow. Yeah. Geez, do you know if you had COVID by any chance? So whenever you switch, it starts by moving left. I want it to start by moving right. Moving right. Okay, let's do that. I don't think so. Didn't test. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't test either. I think our test expired. All right, so this is what we're doing now. How we doing on usage? 79%. And then look into this exception, figure out how long stabilization should last for. New UI needs different colors. Did we get through all this stuff? No, not the grab handles. He wanted those to be wider. And changing the jewelry color. I wrote that down. Okay, so this is the last piece of... The last change we need to make over here. Man, it's been a pretty solid morning, I gotta say. I didn't expect it to be like this. All right, so what'd this do? Just change the order, right? Yeah, easy. All right, let's go try it. So now when you go to the character customization screen, it'll start by pointing right at the thing instead of pointing away from the thing, which is just a weird way to point at something. Oh, now it's pointing in the wrong spot. Ugh. Okay. So that did indeed change the direction, but I wanted it to do so without changing the specific position that we're pointing at. All I wanted to do is change the motion, not the positions. I bet Soul would have done it just fine. Anyway, let's give this exception to a new work tree. Figure out this problem and fix it. Yeah, what am I doing? I should just paste this in, right? Do. Okay. Do this on a new work tree. Give this to Soul. Sounds good. Hey, Have. Wish it was that easy IRL. Fix this problem now. I mean, you could still do that. You just need a person for right now. But imagine you get some like AI controlled robot and I don't know, you spill a drink on the floor or something and you're like, hey, go fix it. And it detects, oh yeah, the floor has some liquid on it that shouldn't be there. And then it goes to your closet and takes your finest clothing and then wipes it up with the clothing that you have. Problem solved. Robo task complete. Original positions restored. Okay, let's go try that. Nice, cool. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. Change tween direction for customization screen. No, the pure white shirt getting grape juice or something soaked up. All right, grab handles on hue sliders probably need to be wider. He said he would use a different color. So the only problem with using, okay, when you're selecting things in UI, colors can usually just be something that contrasts. When you're picking colors in a UI, it's very hard to pick something that contrasts because you might have any color underneath it. So I'm not totally sure what to do for this. Here are the grabber handles now. You can see when it's focused, it's taller than the slider. And it's, I think, a little bit wider. Uh-oh, that's not working. Oh, because I have the mouse over it. Like, what's going on? Yeah, I guess when it's hovered over, when it's focused. So we are changing the size and we're changing the color. I think we're changing the width. But if we didn't have multiple colors there, when we have white selected or when we have black selected, you wouldn't be able to see it. And then here we have every color behind it. So I'm not really sure what to do there. I like what we have so far. We could make these a little bit wider. Yeah, let's try that. May I run Godot headless reproduction to confirm which scene teardown operation disposes this? Sure. Okay, so what are we doing here? I wanted to increase the grabber handle size. Yeah, let's go just work locally. This can be done probably on Luna. Increase the width of grabber. by 1 pixel. Yeah, let's see if that feels better. Now, you might say, why not just go into this and change it myself? It's an SVG. I don't want to change it by hand. I know it's just XML. All right, so we're working on this. We're working on this. What other things can we tackle? He wanted R to dash in the direction he's facing. Enough people have commented on this that I should probably just do it. He commented that the dungeon racer works like how we expected. Yeah. Yeah, this would also prevent you from dashing backwards. And for the sake of a platformer, I think it's probably fine. And the tutorial text, yeah, I think we should do this. All right, I've convinced myself. What else can we do from this list? He wanted the seeds to plant in front of you by 1 space, or pick what's closest. Pick the closest empty or like appropriate space. This is not super important. I might do this. I'll think about that. So let's just bump this downward. So farming game. Yeah, let's just bump it down the list. All right, stamina bar should probably drop below the meter as a joke. Yeah, this is pretty minor. This he didn't even comment on. I just commented on it. Maybe the gift you give is, yeah, okay. May want to remove diggable tiles under the community center. This is all pretty minor. Get rid of the holes in the floor in the lava room in the top-down shooter. Down shooters, lava room. The top left of the architect realm is not possible to shoot through. Need to make deleted items clearer somehow. This one's pretty important. This I don't think I care about. Why sorting is wrong, and yeah, that we should take a look at too. Trying to use bomb or boots when you don't have charges should produce a bonk sound. Allow for dashing immediately after being hit. This I'm not sure about. He commented on this. Right now when you get hit, you're just stuck there for like 1/3 of a second or something. And he wanted to be able to dash immediately after being hit. I don't think I want to do this. I'm concerned people are just going to like non-stop dash. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this. That way to choose which game you want to replay. This is like a long-term thing. Demo should end after top-down shooter. Definitely need to write this down at some point. Steam page. Consider making a demo that includes everything up until the loot boxes game. Matt said the top-down shooters cutscene was important for giving the player a hook. Did I delete that from here? I think I did. All right, so I got another few things I want to change. Can we get all these done before I end the stream? It is 11:30. We might be able to. I'm probably just going to skip the next break, though. All right, well, what's going on over here? This is now 1 pixel bigger. Let's go take a look at it. Let's also see how that happened. Probably just change the coordinate here. Change the width, and that's it. All right, so here's the new... Whoops. I got to stop doing that. Here's the new width. It can go all the way left. It can go all the way right. Is that wide enough? Should we make it even wider? Should it be transparent in the middle? Maybe the color one should be, but the other one shouldn't be. I mean, regardless of if it's transparent or not, you got the context of like, this is a color wheel and this is just the saturation of it. So at any given point, you can pretty much tell what you're doing. I don't think I need to belabor this. I think this is probably fine. Let's try, just for laughs, raising this to 67 pixels. So we've now added 2 more pixels. Is it comically wide now? Is it unusable? How does it feel? I don't even see a difference. Did I even change anything? What if I set this to like 77? I'm not changing anything. I wonder if it's because I need to open Godot for it to re-import the SVG. Can I force the focus state on here? Isn't there some way to do that? I don't recall. Yeah, I'm definitely not making a change though. That's the thing. So what do I do? Grabber handle 4x24. Oh, the view box needs to change. Well. So we couldn't have just set this to 65. So this did a bad job. We would need to increase this to 5. And then hope that Godot re-imports it, I guess. So I just thought it was a pixel bigger. And now I don't know what's going on. So yeah, this is a waste of my time, huh? Let's up this to this and this. And I'm going to reload this thing. Yeah, definitely just going to give this to a better AI. Increase. Or maybe it was just a bad prompt. Maybe I should have said increase. Character palette customization. The active grabber width in this by 1 pixel. I'll give it to the same model as before. I already reverted this. So it should do more than just change a single line. And this thing's still running. I'm gonna have to take a look at that soon too. So we know it is insufficient to just change the width of this thing. I wonder how hard these other things are going to be to change. What else do I have on here? Yeah, this I don't have an idea for. Need to make deleted items clearer. Maybe they float up and get X's on them, or no space when you lose the item. Maybe let them manually open though. Should probably only be when you manually open chest. This is simple. This is pretty simple too. We'll look at this one next. Is this one done? Scene uses the active grabber highlight texture on all 3 sliders. Does not contain a separate width property. Checking the scene's existing slider configuration. Well, in the meantime, let's go take a look at room 3. Because I think I messed up the torches here. If the player, which is not even in this room, if the player is in here and they're next to a torch, what happens? Yeah, they show up beneath the torch. They should always show up on top of the torch, right? What causes this to happen? Y sorting is not on, but I don't think Y sorting really matters here. Where'd that go? Or maybe, is Y sorting turned on over here? It is enabled over here. So if you go, whoops, if you go a certain, no, this is still wrong. What am I talking about? That was a false aha. Give me a sec, I'll figure this out. I don't fully understand why you never render in front of this thing. Y sorting on this shouldn't matter. Oh, this has the index of 1. Oh my god. I didn't see that. Okay, well, it had a z index of 1 so that it renders on top of the wall. Which we could make it do if it's low enough on the wall, but as soon as it's up to there... No, that... its original position still works, I think. Yeah, that would be fine. So we just need to change the Z index. I think we're good. All right, I'll write that down. Probably just need to change the Z index. All right, how are we looking over here now? This should have changed. It changed the width to 80. Interesting. So it's got to divide by 16 there. Interesting. All right, well, let's take a look at it in the game. Is 1 pixel enough? Or do we have to make this change again? I mean, yeah, that looks pretty good. I think it's clear enough. Yeah. Wait, they don't make sounds? Yeah, that's a problem. I think all of this stuff should make sounds, right? Hang on, I'm trying to think of what it would sound like. Yeah, I think they should all make sounds. But I like that change, so let's check that in. And then we'll say... Oh, get out of this. Everything on the customization screen should make a sound. Changing between sliders and pressing R/L to change selections. All right, we'll go check this in. Increase grab handle of sliders. Matt commented that last night that they should be wider. All right, so that's done. Is this one done? Game was freeing sub-game scenes while dialogue, warm-up, or line presenter continuations were still running. Those continuations later access disposed Godot objects. Oh, is this some like painful change that's never going to be obvious to me again? Oh, man. All right, I don't want to do this right now. Oh, I really don't want to do this. Oh, not great. Yeah, I'll look at this in the afternoon. All right, let's just do the Y sorting on the torches. So I'm going to go into the torch scene, which is room 3, and just change all these to be in Z index that's lower. We can just change it here to be 0. They should all show up and everything should just be fine. Now let's find out that I am totally wrong. All right, we're just going to run there. I don't care if I get hit by stuff. There, okay, here we are. So I can stand on top of them, that's fine. Is there a bug there? What is that? No, I think it's good. Okay, now what happens if we light one of them? Yeah, it looks fine. So we fixed it. They're all fine, right? I said I picked the wrong order. I won't be able to move to this one fast enough unless I destroy the blue one. Okay, we gotta do this fast. Yes, we're fine. Okay, now let's get the right order. Red, blue, green, red. Oh, right, it just stays on. I didn't need to time it at all. I forgot about that. Okay. Yep, looking good. Cool. Why did room 3 change here? Oh, because of frame progress. I don't care about that. Fix Z index on torches. The player was showing up behind them before this. All right, done with that. And wanted R to dash. Okay, so for this stuff, I will just kick off some prompts because I don't think it's too crazy. Pressing either aerial dash. Excuse me. In the platformer sub-game. Either this or this. should both act the same way. You should dash in the horizontal direction that you're facing. So if facing right, if facing left, either button would dash left. Hey, Lammy. Yeah, that was an inspiration for that one. Yeah. I really liked Redungeon. And it's a shame it can't be played anymore, or at least not super easily. All right, we should really do this in a different work tree. So yeah, let's go do that. And then let's trigger. So now this is being worked on. And then this is the final thing we can do. But we can do this one in the local branch. All right, so changing in character customization, switching between the sliders or pressing R/L should play the button sounds. What's the thing called? UI hover button. Should all play this. Yep, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Hey, how do you pronounce your name? TJ? TJL? What do you think about incremental and clicker games? So I think my general take is I think incremental and clicker games prey on addiction. That's my general take. So I think they're just generally kind of like the default way of making them, I think, is a sort of scummy game to make. And part of it has to do with I think a lot of it is tied to like in-app purchases. If you make a single like a single time purchase game, I think that alleviates it a bit. But I think you're kind of tapping into the like the progress and numbers go up mentality of a lot of people. And by the way, this is with me having made an incremental game. Like the last game I produced was called Scala Seller, and it's an incremental game. But my whole goal with this was to avoid the tropes of the idle genre and incremental and everything. So this is a finite game. There are not like infinite numbers. You don't just get stuck playing this forever. You hopefully have fun and then you move on. And yeah, that's the big philosophy component of this, is that I think a lot of these games that are in the idle or the incremental genre, you play them, you have fun at first because of this stuff, progress and numbers go up, and usually there's some, nice animations and everything. It's really like tapping into the anticipation of your brain. And then at some point, without you realizing it, you no longer are having fun, but you're still playing. And that period of time can be a pretty long amount of time. And this happens with almost every genre of game, but I just think it happens much more with incremental games, where you're like, am I enjoying myself? And if you stop and think about it, you're like, I'm not really enjoying myself. I don't want to play this anymore. Whereas when I'm playing like Slay the Spire 2, I'm generally having fun. I'm making like interesting decisions. I'm not in it just because they like hooked me through psychological tricks. They hooked me through gameplay. So yeah, that's just kind of generally how I feel about this stuff. I don't know if that fully answers your question. All right, so this should be finished now. Let's go try this out. Still have it on my phone and play it occasionally. Yeah, once I like kind of beat everything, it lost a lot of its appeal because it is pretty grindy if you start from scratch. Yeah, nice. Okay, yeah. I think I like it. Okay. Da, 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 da. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Yeah, nice. Okay, so add sounds to, for everything, add sounds to character customization. Switching between sliders and pressing L/R will now play the button hover sounds. This makes it more obvious that you performed an action. Okay. All right, that's done. Fix aerial dash. Let's go try this out. This I'll just hit commit over here. And we'll just do merge codecs. This takes a long time though. There we go. Oh, wait. No, I got to confirm that. All right, now we go test it. This will feel weird for me, but for most people who play this game, this is what they expect. And I don't know how it'll feel. Like, I know what I'm about to do, but let's try this. Okay, yeah, it does feel a little weird. So now when I press L, if I'm facing right, it still dashes right. Now if I press R and I'm facing left, it dashes left. So it's just whatever direction you're facing. I guess it is, yeah, it's pretty nice. Plus, you never have a reason to dash backwards in this game. No, it is a little bit weird to me. All right, well, whatever. People want this. It's going to stay, I think. Do I check out and rate games? No, I do not. All right, let me snooze this ad that's coming up. Nor do I allow linking from new people to the stream. All right, so this is now done. Yeah. Make dashing button agnostic in the platformer. So pressing L or R now dashes in the direction that you're facing. It used to be based on which button you pressed. I guess like e.g. L would always dash left. Enough people commented on this across both checkpoints, and the tutorial text only comments on pressing R. Also, this is how the dungeon racer works. Although there it makes a little bit more sense. Although there it makes more sense because it's in 4 directions, not just 2. But still, yeah. Okie dokes, that's done. And that's done. Oh, and then this is pretty simple too. All right, let's go do this one really fast. So when trying to use the boots or bombs in the dungeon racer without having charges or without having charges available for either one, it should play some kind of bonk sound. Bonk. Yeah. All right, so we're working on this one too. And then this we got to do at some point. But that's, I think, the majority of the important feedback. Is there anything else that's important here? No, yeah, that's it. And the most important thing is the thing we tackled at the beginning of this stream, which I will show again for those who hadn't seen it. But it's the stats screen in the top-down shooter. So this is up here. This is, I think, what sells that your stats rise the way that they do. So like if I get 5 upgrades, now you see there are 5 segments filled in. If I then die, it'll show these back at 0. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice. Okay, do I have this written down over here? Is there an apply from this? Should probably target the, like, a Bezier path with the top of the screen as one node in that path. Let's go take a look at this. So if count is less than 0, play UI button to 9. Yep, sounds good. And dashing. Yep, sounds good. Cool. This is great. Love not having to make these tiny code changes and just telling it what I want it to do. Yeah. So now let's go test it out. We go into the dungeon racer, get power-ups and get bombs. Now if I try placing 4 bombs, it won't work. It's not super obvious. Well, I mean, my sound is kind of turned down. Yeah, it's just a much quieter sound than laying a bomb, so it's kind of not super apparent. Maybe I should not attenuate that sound. I don't have a way of doing that, do I? No, I don't have a way of doing that. Maybe we should turn on the bomb sound. I mean, that's pretty loud. Play bonk sound for bomb/boots. When you don't have charges of a particular item in the dungeon racer, it will play, and try to use it. And try to use that item, it will play a bonk sound. All right, we made it through a decent amount of these things. Did I delete that already? Yeah, here. I did not delete it. Whew, what a day. I'm pretty happy with the progress. It was kind of sucky tasks. I got more of those to get through. Man, so much to do. I wonder if I got a response from Valve yet. No, I did not. I sent them an email, well, a support request thing on Sunday asking, can I set up a Steam page while I'm streaming? And they haven't got back to me. Hey, Gibolito. Have you tried anti-gravity? I don't think I have. Let me take a look at that. Oh, no. Oh, you're not talking about a game. You're talking about Google's thing, right? No, I have not tried that. Sorry, I just assumed game at first. Yeah, I haven't tried it. I am probably going to stick to Codex for as long as it's still kind of serving me. And then at some point, maybe switch to some like more open or cheaper model or something. I'm not sure. Is it against terms of service or something? Most of the Steamworks pages at the bottom say this is confidential, something. And Cakes had asked Valve, I think, and I think he got permission. I'd like to have my own permission instead of saying like, well, another streamer was told that he could do it. So realistically, I don't think Valve cares if you're showing the like normal Steam pages for things like, oh, hey, here's how you set up your art assets and here's how you set out your store description or whatever. I don't think they care about that. I think they might care more about the like you're showing off metrics or you're showing off features that haven't been released yet. Maybe something like that. Yeah. With that said, I don't know how many. I mean, there's so many people who have applications or games on Steam that any new feature is probably going to get covered in a news article somewhere. I'll probably try Codex as well. Yeah, I think whatever works for you. There's not too much of a reason to try to switch because it's like, you know, if something costs $1,000 a month, it's worth it to try to cut down on that cost, right? If something costs $1 a month, it's not really worth it to try to cut down on it, at least not for development. If you're talking about your personal life, it might be different, but like development generally costs a decent amount of money to do. So $10 a month, $20 a month are like rounding errors at the end of the project. My budget for Skeleseller was originally like $500. And the budget for this game is, I didn't really set out with a specific one, but let's say like, I don't know, $5,000 or something. And I've got somewhere in that design document, I've got all the things that I've spent money on. I'm not really counting AI as part of that. I like kind of am. Where is this? Monetary cost. Yeah, so assets, I spent about $100 so far. AI subscription, I just wrote 20 a month. But like, if I were to count every month by the end of making this game, my estimate is it's going to be about 2 years. Is that significant? I mean, even as part of the budget, it's like 10% of the budget. I don't think it's too crazy. Played anti-gravity a lot. I also have a Google sub for data backup, which included the AI sub. Oh, cool. If they're one and the same, yeah, that's not too bad. I guess that's what they want to do is get you on some like just Google subscription, like how Amazon does with Prime. Hey, Combo. Why did you choose Codex Web instead of the VS extension? I'm using I'm using the desktop app, just to be clear. I go to it on the web sometimes just to check my usage, because this way I can, it's just a bunch of shortcuts that I have, Alt 1 and then Command T and then X. So I can do that from anywhere, which is pretty simple. I guess I have to press home as well. And it gets me my usage. So that's why I open up the website. But otherwise, I don't interact with it through the site. But anyway, still to answer your question, why the desktop app and not VS Code? I don't use VS Code, and I don't use Visual Studio either. I use Rider. Rider probably also has an extension. So another reason why I don't do that is just because the desktop app works. Like, it does what I want. I can still pass in files. I've got all my whatever conversations, whatever you want to call them over here, chats. So yeah, I think this workflow is working pretty well for me. Okay, so we did not fill this out yet. Mostly addressed feedback from Matt's playtest session last night. The biggest change was adding the stats screen to the, or stats UI to the top-down shooter. The next biggest, I guess, like, another significant change was revamping the character customization screen. AI usage for the morning stream. What do we start at today? Started at 89% and we are down to 74. So we use 15%. Hey, Frederick. I don't get how people can tolerate VS Code. Seems like such a bad idea. I use VS Code for something like probably more than that. Probably like 8 years or something. I think VS Code is still great. And I still use it, I guess, on a daily basis, just mostly for notes. Like, you can see it's my stream thing where I just talk about whatever random thing in here. So now it's really just a text editor mostly for me. But the biggest reasons why I switched to Rider were frustrations with doing C# code from VS Code. Now, if you're on Windows, Visual Studio is apparently still great for C#, but Visual Studio was sunset on Mac OS, and I'm on Mac OS, so my options are switch to Windows, which I'm not going to do, or find a different IDE. So yeah, let's find a different IDE. But yeah, I still like VS Code and everything. Hey, Zahib. Still use VS Code. I'm not a coder anymore as I switch fields. Yeah, I still think as a text editor, it's great. I like that there are extensions and everything. There's still a couple of things that I haven't found one-to-one copies of in Rider, like wrapping comments, evaluating code as JavaScript, those sorts of things. Hey, Captain Anosa, hope your stream went well yesterday and you liked Fern's game. VS Code has been a fine text editor with extra bells and whistles. Enjoy it for like web apps. Rider's my preference for .NET stuff. Yeah, I think, like I said, the C# experience in VS Code wasn't the best, but then also on top of this, Rider has a couple of tools that are fantastic for when you're about to release a game. They have some perf tools and some like memory allocation tools that you can look at. Excuse me. I say like memory analysis, I guess. And yeah, those really came in handy for Skeleseller. I'm sure they'll come in handy for this game too. All right, so journal is done. I don't even have that written down over here. All right, I have a lot of work in the afternoon. I want to just share some general things. One, it's about noon. I'm going to be ending the stream pretty soon. I'm just doing the morning stream, so there won't be another stream today. Tomorrow should be a full day of streaming. I think we're going to work on game design stuff, but I'm not totally sure yet. Tonight, which will be off stream, is going to be playtest number 4 for this checkpoint. This is another unique person, as in they have not seen, hasn't seen checkpoint 1. And I have another playtest session on Thursday. Now, Kevin has technically worked on the game, but he hasn't seen a lot of it because he hasn't been doing a lot of work on the game, and he hasn't been watching the stream as much because of all of his meetings that he has. So I'm not certain how much he knows about it, and I think the surprise factor is important. But anyway, this person tonight has not seen a lot of it. The playtests are just so important. And as long as I'm still getting feedback, I think I still need to run them. But then I think for the rest of the month, we're going to keep focusing on those stabilization tasks. So things like setting up the Steam page, getting controller glyphs in the game, maybe automated tests, maybe different Steam releases. So we have a demo and a playtest or something. 10 out of 10. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. That's great to hear. I'm sure Fern will be overjoyed. Yeah, I do like the JetBrains IDs. By the way, for anyone who wants a JetBrains IDE license, I have some giveaway codes for like single IDE licenses for a year. So if you're interested, join Discord. Hey, Matt, I was talking about you a lot today. Oh, let me show you actually while you're here, Matt. Let me show you some of the changes I made really fast. So one of them, it's apparent right off the bat. Let me mute this. I now have the stats at the top here. This works pretty much like how you'd expect. When I go pick up a stat, it will animate this like what you mentioned and show one little segment getting filled in. So I can get a bunch of stats here. And then when you die, they all go back down to 0. So you wouldn't know that you kept them. And yeah, you collect them again. And then the other change. Wait, I want one of those codes. Yeah. Just type something in the coding channel on Discord. The other change is this. I laid out this screen entirely differently. So those buttons at the top are gone. You now only have to press L and R. It will point at the section that you're modifying. And I made this slider a little bit, like the bar a little bit wider. So yeah, all in all, I think these are pretty good changes we have here. Why abbreviate them in that context? Use full length, luck, speed, luck, and speed. I don't think they'll fit in every language. That's the problem. And I don't want to think about other languages just yet. So yeah, I'm hoping these changes are good. I'll do a playtest session tonight with someone and we'll see how they feel. But yeah, only having the focus go between these 4 sections, I think is pretty nice. And they're all there at the same part of the screen. Like the focus, your UI focus is entirely in like this rectangle, as opposed to being partially up here, partially over here, partially over here. It would span the whole screen. And the arrow is mostly just to differentiate between like when you're customizing the eyes, so you're aware of it, versus the skin color. Now it's very obvious when you change the skin color that you're changing the skin color, but the eyes are less obvious, especially when you do these minute changes like this. Like here you might be like, what am I changing right now? And yeah, it's not unless you look really closely that you see, oh, these pixels are getting grayer or not. I mean, it's more obvious when the colors are fully saturated, but yeah, I think this is pretty nice. I like this. Anyway, that is it for the stream. I'm gonna go find someone to raid. Let us see who is online. Oh, hey, speaking of Fern, Fern's streaming right now. Let's go raid Fern. She is presumably working on Bring Me Hope on stream. I'm not certain. What is she working on? Yeah, it looks like Bring Me Hope. Oh, hey, Captain Anosa speaking there too. All right, thank you for watching, everyone. I will be here tomorrow. I will report on the new playtest experience, and we'll hopefully do some game design, which I think should be pretty fun. So, yeah. Take care. Cheers, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.